That purchase price represents a 38% premium to Twitter's closing price the day before Musk disclosed his approximately 9% stake at the beginning of April. That represents just a single-digit premium, though, to where the stock is now because there was such excitement around this from shareholders.
Twitter shares were up nearly 6% at more than $51 a share when trading was halted just before today's announcement, finishing in the same range. Also before the announcement, former President Trump telling Fox News he thinks Musk will make improvements, but that he will not return to Twitter, instead joining his own Truth social media platform as planned. The former president facing fines of $10,000 a day for contempt of court. A New York judge ruling that he's failed to fully comply with subpoenas for documents in a civil probe of his business dealings. His attorneys say there are no more documents to disclose. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy again denying he ever intended to ask Trump to resign over the Capitol riot, still facing questions about a leaked phone call. This as he leads a congressional delegation visiting the southern border and calling for action.
Make sure the border agents have exactly what they need. We were on this river today, and as large as it is, they need more boats. They need more ability to move forward. We can pass remain in Mexico. We can put this on the president's desk and put the pressure upon him to do the right thing.
The White House says it inherited a broken system and that it remains ready to discuss reforms with lawmakers and governors. America is listening to Fox News.
Technology is the great connector. It puts songs in your pocket, connects long-lost friends, and has made the world easier, faster, and smarter. And now, First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app can help you do the same with your money. Whether you want real-time financial tracking with MoneyMap or tailored advice on your personal finances with daily insights, we're giving you the power to connect to your finances from anywhere, like never before. First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
On March 4th, Guam Homeland Security sent an advisory warning about Russian cyber attacks and recommended Guam organizations strengthen their cybersecurity postures. You might think your small business isn't at risk, but as businesses use more cloud and web-based tools, they're exposed to cyber attacks designed to snare victims of any size. Keep your organization protected with GTA's multi-threat security bundle. Visit gta.net or call 671-644-1000 for a free consultation today.
A whole-of-government plan to rein in nefarious drone use.
The plan's 8 steps start with the involvement of Congress, which would work with the White House to expand Cabinet Department's ability to detect rogue drone activity. The other provisions cover training, detection, and tracking of such unmanned aircraft systems. The White House says bad actors using drones for surveillance and espionage require action to close critical gaps needed to protect the American people. While recognizing drone use for fun and commercial activities, it's the exploitation of the technology the Biden administration says it is protecting against. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The parents of a 14-year-old boy who fell to his death from an amusement park ride in Florida are suing the owner, manufacturer, and landlord, accusing them of negligence. The lawsuit says they failed to warn their son, who was well over the weight restriction, about the risks of going on the ride. An initial report from investigators said ride sensors had been manually adjusted to double the size of restraint openings on 2 seats. A late blast of winter taking a toll on Oregon's wine industry.
Wineries slammed.
Mother Nature will do what she does.
Kim Bellingar owns Bellingar Estates.
This is an unprecedented event in the Willamette Valley to have cold temperatures in April. We had snow in April.
The vines had just started sprouting green buds that would eventually bear fruit a week before Northwest Oregon's record snowstorm. Bellingar says the frost killed the buds, turning them brown and crunchy.
The challenge is that there's not much you can do.
80% of the buds on her vines are damaged, but she says the vines will survive, adding the frosty weather will impact the quantity of wine, not the quality. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Wall Street rallies after an earlier triple-digit sell-off. The Dow up about 240 points at the close, getting back over 34K. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Half a day, this is Honey. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
In celebration of our 33rd anniversary, BK's new Whopper Melts are here. Our Whopper Melts feature 2 slices of toasted bread layered with 2 Whopper Junior patties for a quarter pound of plain grilled beef, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce. Whopper Melts now available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our big Whopper fans. Top off your meal with jalapeno cheddar bites and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Whopper Melts, now available for a limited time. BK, Tumon Bay, Agutya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK your way. Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Off a day at 6:06, I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on The Point. 2 bills that deal with education requirements have been placed on the session agenda, but not without some bickering between your elected senators. The bills DOE is hoping will give them a waiver for the 180-day requirement for students and the other to waive the requirement for service learning hours. DOE is fearing that without these waivers, they could be sued for its inability to meet the mandates due to the pandemic closures at the schools. Now, as reported in the Guam Daily Post, Education Senator Talina Nelson attempted to place the bills on the agenda last week, but met pushback over whether the bills adhered to certain timeline requirements. Senator Tello Taitagui made it a point to ask the committee reports when they were posted on the Guam Legislature website, not just for the school year related bills, but for other measures being moved onto the session agenda during yesterday's meeting. Taitagui stated that there was a 5-day posting requirement, but Nelson argued otherwise. It was later on in session, though, that the speaker did clarify that there is actually a 5-day requirement, but for the Committee on Rules in order to review a committee report and to upload it to the website or to do other actions. Meanwhile, as senators were also moving to place another bill on the session agenda that would extend the plastic bag ban for retail and wholesale establishments, the Post reports that there were some arguments that could be heard on the session floor after the vote on whether to place Bill 245 on the session agenda came up. Nelson and Taitagui were then arguing with each other, prompting the speaker to tell them to please take it outside if they need to so that the legislature can proceed with business. Now, despite the ruckus between the senators, all 3 bills were placed on the agenda. Bill 267 related to establishing a process to resolve ratepayer disputes was also placed on the agenda along with Bill 197, which appropriates $5 million to the University of Guam for the construction of the Student Service Center and School of Engineering buildings. Well, there was a delay in the payments to teachers, but checks will be cut for after-school teachers and coordinators. It's been held up for nearly 35 calendar days since the paperwork related to paying the Aspire employees was turned in. Under the current contract, DOE has 20 working days to pay out these paychecks. The Aspire program is funded through the federal monies received during COVID-19, specifically under the American Rescue Plan. The superintendent, John Fernandez, said it was a matter of having cash to pay the teachers before they got the federal reimbursement. He does say in the Post that the payments will be made no later than Wednesday. And a couple of local establishments have been shut down by public health, this after they were found with pest infestations and other issues. Joanne's Bakery in Jigo had its sanitary permit revoked on April 15th after it was found to have insects, rodents, and other animals in the establishment. There was also no hot water. The establishment's plumbing was not properly installed. Wastewater was not properly disposed of, and facilities were not properly installed or kept clean. The inspection was prompted by a complaint that was filed with Public Health. Meanwhile, the Agate Marina Grill sanitation permit was suspended on April 11th due to the presence of insects, rodents, and other animals. But after issues have been addressed, the Marina Grill did have its permit reinstated, and it was allowed to reopen. Well, more news right after this.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate with cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. For others but branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
The government of Guam collected $68 million more in general fund revenues than it budgeted for in the first half of the fiscal year, but some senators are cautioning against trying to spend the excess amounts as they could have to budget for salary increases by the government of Guam. GovGuam could end fiscal year 2022 with about $68 million more than what they anticipated in the fiscal year budget, which was $707 million. Joseph Augustine says that the salary increases could be worth about $30 to $40 million. He says there is a positive results, though, a positive report that the economy is moving forward. The numbers are based on the BBMR latest consolidated revenue and expenditure report, or the CRER, sent to the legislature. Well, there's good news also coming for Guam tourism as more airlines look to return to the island. The Post reporting that budget airline Air Busan plans to open 5 new international routes in May, including its Incheon Guam route. The Busan Guam route is currently suspended due to low demand. Now, Air Busan is one of the 5 airlines that have applied for local government-funded subsidy through GVB, which is offering business partners a chance at a $100 per seat financial incentive for bringing flights to Guam. The island's monthly air seat capacity is expected to increase to more than 107,000 in June, as more international flights are expected to also resume their flights to Guam. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Okay, assignment time, kids. Assignments. Where's the cat fight? I cannot. Where on the legislative YouTube page is the cat fight? I was looking for it. No, do you have? I
didn't see it, but I read about it.
Well, I read about it as well, and I'm going. Okay, well, where is it in all the different things? Was it at the resolution presentation?
It might be in the beginning because
James Howard, get on that, man. Get on that.
It might be in the beginning of the session.
I want it, and I want it now.
Right away, James Howard. Quickly.
Thank you very much. Chop, chop. Chop, chop. Hurry. Before the weathercast is over would be nice. Thank you very much. It's mostly sunny today. Again, I don't know where they're getting this one. Take a look. Take a look at the Asia, and you can see where Guam is, and we got some chop that moved in from the northeast just overnight here, and it's meeting up with some stuff that looks like it's splitting up which direction the winds are flowing to the south of Guam, and I think that's going to be bringing us. I'm not going to call it itchy bang weather, but the roads were wet when I got up here this morning. Mostly sunny in the forecast today. Once we get out of this chop, daytime highs near 87 degrees with a heat index. It'll feel like 90 degrees. East winds 14 to 20 miles an hour, gusting as high as 24 miles an hour today. That's why we've got, with the chances of rain and rip current warnings and things like that. So careful while you're out there. Partly cloudy tonight. Overnight lows of about 74 degrees. There's mostly sunny in the forecast for tomorrow. Daytime highs near 87 degrees. Scattered showers and isolated showers tomorrow as well, with mostly cloudy skies in for the mix. Sunrise this morning as early as 6:02 in some parts of Guam, and sunset tonight 6:35. Hashtag tell the others. There you go. News and weather together. Okay, where's the link? Do I have it yet? Is it on? Has somebody sent me the thing?
Come on, people.
Yeah, what is it? Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Everybody working. For? Yeah, send the link up there in the Facebook Lives and all the other stuff. Okay. There's an implied, there should be an understanding here that the work flows in both directions, from me to you out there in Radioland, and from Radioland back to me. It's the fun of social media. So get to it. News and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 67 and a half years.
Are you looking for a new place to hang out with your friends? Let's go along the sidelines at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Located at 154 Iriarty Road, Unit 4 and 5 in Tamuning behind Royal Bigs. Sidelines, a hidden gem with nothing but great things to offer. Great atmosphere, great food, top shelf drinks, and a great team. What are we waiting for? Let the fun begin at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. See you there.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Groovy 6:15 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Subway, and they have got something new for me to crow about. I'm just thrilled about it right now. It's the new roast beef sandwich that they've got waiting for you. The Eat Fresh Refresh is bringing back a classic. It's not just any roast beef. It's choice Angus roast beef by itself, or you layer it up with onion roasted turkey and Black Forest ham. Make that the Subway Club new roast beef, flavorful as it is satisfying. Get your fill of the new roast beef on hearty multi-grain bread with fresh hand-sliced veggies at Subway. Eat fresh.
The Ray Gibson Show.
Take it outside.
Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Here this morning to talk about on the Ray Gibson Show, and I'm so glad that you are here to hear me say all of the good newsy kind of things that we've got.
Catch me outside, how about that? Catch me outside, how about that?
We'll drop that a few times here this morning. So apparently there was a cat fight over at the legislature yesterday, and I know some of you are obsessed with an online poll here. Let me get this up on the screen. If Guam's primary election were held today, which gubernatorial team would you vote for? Screw that. Never mind. I'm going to send out word to the folks over at the Guam Daily Post. Drop this. It's already been corrupted by Adelup, so I mean, nobody cares about this anymore. The real survey, the real poll that we've got to ask today is, if it came to blows, who would win, Senator Tello Taitigui or Senator Telena Nelson? Now, I got my money on Telena because she's guard, right?
Yeah.
She's got the guard maneuvers.
Silent, swift, and deadly, fast and furious.
Army SEAL,
yes.
Command Sergeant Major.
In the dark of night, Ray.
Exactly. So
Zero Dark 30.
She's got those skills. she's got cami chick skills, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And she's also Teddy's girl.
And Teddy's
That's
girl.
right, yeah.
Right. All right.
The ranch, bro.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Tello's chick from the Ville. She's Barragata chick all the way, right?
Yeah.
And Taitigui, they're known for their strength.
Taitigui.
Exactly. So they're no messing around
Big
with
shoulders
with these guys. Exactly, and hard head. So
Tello can hold her own, man.
So Tello, we'll put him in the ring there, and so you got Telena in her camis, and you got Tello with her purse, right? So it's Tello and Michael Kors against Telena.
Swinging around, man.
Does that change the dynamic of what's going on here? So I'm done. I still don't have it. Nobody's.
I found it. I'm just
looking
for the juicy part.
So there needs to be a thing. I don't know what video sites that you go to, but certain porn sites have a feature where when it gets like super exciting, there's a little graph in the middle that goes up. So I think they ought to have the same thing on YouTube.
Welcome to Thunderdome.
This is a prickly situation, but this. Retrieval. I'm going back and getting punchlines from yesterday because it was so much fun. And apparently some of the conversation that we were working through yesterday, as tough as it was, as difficult and uncomfortable a conversation, because you just wonder how all of this starts. You let the boy play with the girl dolls when they're growing up, and pretty soon they want to play rugby on the girls team. I don't know where all of this happens, but anyway, so we've got that story there, and so yesterday wasn't a bad day for conversation, right?
It was the best day ever.
All right, today will be the best day ever. Can I tell you what I got yesterday? I'm sitting around the house waiting to fall asleep, and the phone rings, and the caller ID, it said Felix.
Oh, wow.
There's
Not
only
that one?
There's Felix is with us on the social media here in the morning, but this particular one happened to be from former Governor Felix Picamacho. And he said, "Hey, I'm here with Jim McDonald. Can you talk to him about something?" I said, "Yeah." I said, hey. I said, "You're with the handsome McDonald?" He says, "Yeah." And so I got Brother James
the crime dude.
Yeah, I got him. Yeah, the Crime Stopper guy. There's a Crime Stopper guy, and I don't want to say any Crime Stopper guy is like royalties. He's like Hawaiian Crime Stopper royalties, and in charge of a whole
regional,
district.
dude
In the States.
Yeah.
So he's going to be on the program a little bit later on.
It's safe here, though, Ray.
Oh, it's very safe. I've gotten many moments of safety brought to you by the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration that you are going to thank you for the federal dollars, by the way. But
thank you for your federal funds.
it's so nice. But anyway, so we've got those moments of safety coming up a little bit later on in the program. And for clarity here, I don't know why I have to do this, but yesterday there seemed to be some disagreement over who came in first on the program. So I took the liberty of screen capping what my phone, the approved app, the app of record for the Ray Gibson Show and the Facebook Live. And it shows here, well, I'll read it to you what it shows after we play the little song, the snippet of a tune. Go.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same.
They're all the same.
You want to go where everybody knows your name.
I don't want to say it was a homogenous crowd, but have you seen all the pictures of the blues party over at the beach the other day? I'm looking at somebody said, "Wow, what do you think of this picture?" I said, "I've never seen so many white people I didn't know." What is crazy? How about that? 6:22 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. All right, so from the app of record, looks like Rico Blancaflor once again.
Oh, big man.
Comes in at number one along with Scott K. Armstrong and others watching the program. Others include Sarita Garin, Sherry Iriarty, Sandra Regis is in there. We got to throw in a Biba for her. And now I got to look at the actual app. I can't look at the picture anymore. Hold on. I see there's Nate Horn saying good morning, Guam. Happy Taco Tuesday. Ismail Velez is hanging out with us. Keenan McCausland from Washington State. Is it still snowing up there? Is it still cold up in that part of the country?
It's a cold snap, Ray.
Cold at Post Canteen. Gold cold. He's got almost $2,000 worth of the jackpot in the VFW Queen of Hearts drawing, 7 o'clock on Friday night. You need to be there. Mike Grace Bloss online here this morning. Mark Cruz doing his wave. Scott K. Armstrong and Nick Perlowski looking for something to growl about. I'll get something to you soon. Let me see, Joe Antitino. Felix Bamba. That's the other Felix I was talking about.
Other Felix.
I got Felix Camacho on the phone and Felix Bamba here. Both, so a couple of just handsome, erudite dudes. We got Jose Martinez checking in this morning. Mark Anthony. Brad Wood is there. Sandra says, good morning, Ray, Mana, RJC, Point, brothers and sisters, Bob and Connie Bartonico, Senator Jesse Anderson Lohan.
Oh, Biba the body.
Biba the mind. Let me see, Rudy Rodolfo. Happy 33rd anniversary to the guys over at Burger King here on Guam. John Ray Titano, Henry Menglotnia, Dave Lazard, Lucia Wood is hanging out here. Got Harvey Ekna. Biba to Harvey Ekna.
Morning, Woods.
Yeah, both of the Woods are there. Ken Brown, listening in the free zone out in the States. Patty Santiago sending her good morning wishes to everybody. Did I already say Joanne Titano? Better throw that in there just in case. Tim Zedeker is online. So is, let me see, Sarah Lake Maganda. Screenshot, shut it down, hands down. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. So nice to, did I mention I saw Sarah was at the ACT race on the other night, and her husband and son and I were taking turns running fast and then stopping and breathing, and then running fast and then stopping and breathing. Good job. Jerome McDowell says, good morning, 93.3. Well, good morning to you as well. Getting my point fix. I need my black coffee, says Sarita Garin, and a note that everybody made it to the States fine for the JFK boostering team.
Sweet.
That is nice. I got Jane Nauta hanging out with us. What's that, Ismail Valeso? I heard James Howard shout from the soccer field at Adelup, tell the devil I said, hey, when you get back to where you're from. Ooh, evil here. MT Farron online already. Ray, don't see what you put up. Seems like you have multiple feeds. No, Dale, everybody, when you get to the app, is different from when I get to the app. And so I opened the feed. I started the feed here this morning, and then I opened my app. And so when I got there, it showed that Rico B was the first one to interact. You know what? This is how they get us. Yeah. This is how social media gets us. There's not enough for us to fight over. So Zuckerberg's actually created some kind of weird portally algorithm thing here
fighting for bandwidth?
that makes us fight for the bandwidth. You know, this is how civil wars get started. No, Rico was first, and no, Sarah was first.
It's their provider, Ray.
Exactly. Yeah,
the Lord is our provider.
blame it on whoever you bet your internet from. Zoan Goko is online. I see Benedosu Tau listening in Anderson. Ooh, how about that? Let me see. Edwin Kitsatu, Hafa Deadwin. Nice to see you online. Joey Kitsatu. Buenas and Hafa Day to Therese Uggan. Trina San Augustine.
Trina.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Sorry, I have to turn this off.
That's okay. Are you getting closer to where you...
I sent it to you.
Oh, you did? Okay, we'll start with that in a couple of minutes. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Trina Masfina.
Media darling, Trina Masfina, by the
darling.
way. Jose Tetpahagu, Kenneth Polino, Buenos Zan, half a day to, let me see, what's that? Joe Cruz is talking. Swear to God, when Dr. Mitnick stood up for himself, I got excited.
I did, man. I remembered it.
I know. There's a lot of other people like, wow, man, play that again. Valerie S.A. Untalan, Twisted Tuesday, she's calling it. There's Juanita Machi online, and let me see. I'm looking at all kinds of other folks here. Jay Fernandez's decision was a tough call, but so disappointing. Putting too much leftist cream in the coffee, she says. Well, Sarah, I sent this in yesterday. I don't know how much the guys over at in the afternoon show in Tall Tales were able to talk about this, but this was on Twitter yesterday from John Fernandez. FYI, the Guam Education Board will be scheduling a work session on May 4th and will hold a special board meeting May 6th to address the issue of transgender females playing girls rugby.
Oh, it's an issue.
And the first thing, if you're going to get a red line from the mustache, it's going to be on transgender females. He's saying there's no such thing. They're boys. They just called them to address the issue of boys playing girls rugby. That's what the old man would say. KUAM News last night, Guam Rugby Union has sidelined the Guam High's girls team in transgender athlete controversy. A message sent to members of the Guam Rugby Union states games involving Guam High School's women's team have been postponed until the matter can be addressed more fully with the Guam Rugby Union Board and relevant stakeholders. This message came after the GRU, which runs the League for International Sports Association, or ISA, raised serious questions of liability assignment if transgender rugby competition were to proceed as GDOE has directed. They're worried about people getting hurt and then the GRU getting sued for a pile of money for letting them. By not standing in the gap for them to get hurt. So a lot of conversation that still yet has to be done on this before it's all done. Vivian Castro Leon, good morning to you. Gemma Bustamante is hanging out with us. Let me see who else is playing around. I got Mark Voigtland checking in from the free zone. There's Lonnie Salas, Margaret Estachio. Twitter leftists will definitely feel turned. That's Sarah Lake's favorite word. We're turned. Drink all your sorrows away. It's going to be fun. Oh, and Bunker's online. In Alahan Fiesta.
Viva Bunker.
Viva San Jose, he says. Let me see. Bertha Mazza Cruz. Greg Baz Knight, my hiking buddy. I say hiking buddy, even though I haven't been on trail in a while. I'm sorry. Just been. You know what it is I can go hiking or I can go and take care of my getting my running back to where it is.
Yeah.
Because if I go hiking, it's usually always followed by beer. Yeah. So. And there's a lot of virtually unlimited amount of beer when I hang out with Dean. What's that? Legislature should give this administration some of their poison by not signing off on this waiver request with GOE. Don't cooperate. Heather Pears is there. I got James Howard. He says he's on it. Rita Kitachai. And let me see. Was it somebody talking about? Mike Grace Blah says, I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. You get it? I'm a Rita Kitachai. And... did I already say Bunkers here? Bill Petit online. Hey, we got an actual educator with us this morning. Johnny Atulai is hanging out with us.
Good morning, Mr. Atulai.
Let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. I want to have my stuff taken away by the port police. How about Jess Mendiola? Tello will swing her Louis Vuitton abs. Telena will smack the blank out of her. Add another category. Who cares? He says. Let me see. Nick Perluski. Sarita. All right. Looks like we've got a whole bunch of folks that are online here this morning. Hit the share button, kids. Hit the share button. Let everybody know that this is where you are coming for your dose. I don't want to say it's common sense because every once in a while I got to recognize that I'm capable of just as much of being goo-gawed and gaslit and bamboozled as everybody else. But I try to, steer things into an area of common sense because it just occurs to me. I'm not sure if they have any over at the legislature. There's a very interesting story on page 1 of today's Guam Daily Post here. It says, half year, GovGuam revenues exceed target by $68 million. And so normally it's Lester Carlson that will check in. Normally Les will be the one who says, it's just on paper. It's not real money.
Yeah,
but it's not just on paper. The budget amount was for this, and they've collected this much more than that in actual revenues. But don't you start thinking about that's going to come back to you in the form of some kind of, tax rebate a la Joe Ada from back in the 80s. I don't think anything like that is going to happen because even the guys over at the legislature are saying no. Senator Joe S. San Augustine says, no. Hey, man, we need to. There's gonna be pay raises next year. We gotta put that money aside for the government of Guam pay raises. Hey, hold on, guys. It seems to me we got to float everybody's boat. That's not money for employees in the government of Guam. That's for the taxpayers. Now I know you're going to say GovGuam employees are taxpayers. All right, that's fair enough. But here's the thing: is GovGuam employees that I'm aware of, unless you really stepped in a pile of Ludu, then you probably have not lost a minute worth of pay in the thing. There's even a story. Hell, there's even a story in here about how while the students might have missed instructional days, the teachers still timed in. And I'm going, well, what did they time in for if there were no students? I'm fuzzy. I'm beginning to get a little bit fuzzier on what's going on in the span of the government of Guam. and yeah. There's talks about pay raises. Certainly cops deserve pay raises. Certainly every classroom teacher on Guam deserves pay raises. And certainly every nurse on Guam deserves pay raises. I don't know if everybody else, the whole rank and file, the guys that you see bush cutting, I don't know if we need to. And the nose pickers and poll clickers that have been all over that Guam Daily Post poll in the last 48 hours, do they need a raise? Or do we need to take that $68 million and subsidize them some more? Afamana, are you having flashbacks of the Calvo administration?
There's a certain amount of cramping that goes on. I still have
what do they call
issues.
it? The repetitive motion injuries.
Trigger finger.
Hey, how long we got to do this, Logan?
Forever!
Remember, and the salary increases would have to be budgeted next year, $30 to $40 million in salary increases in the government of Guam. And you realize that they're growing the government of Guam. There are 2 new positions that are coming up. I mean, like the executive level positions coming up over at the port that they're advertising for right now.
Well, don't forget the new one that was created out of BBMR,
which is
the sub BBMR, the logistics and tech.
Oh, that's right. Tyrone's job.
Yeah. Direction of Guam and planning.
Exactly. Well, I got your one-way sign right here. But at the same time, St. Augustine noted that the half-year revenue report shows the economy is moving forward. People are going out again, so the money circulates in the economy. Do you want me to tell him? Do you want me to tell all of that money that is floating around in the economy is pretend? It's pretend money. If it isn't coming from federal construction, then it isn't real money because there's federal money from the military and all of the stuff that the federalists are doing here on Guam. But that was only half of the economy. The other half was the hospitality business. And yeah, there's a couple of flights coming in that aren't the mail flight. but not as many as we had from the pre-pandemic. All of that money that's floating around, all of that is just residual spend on the PUA money that's still out there, the $300 program in Chalapi that talk to some people that have applied and are going, well, it's nice to hear that other people are getting their money, but where's ours? Not quite seeing the money hitting the bank accounts as fast as they'd like to, but it is. But it is. So all of that additional artificial money that's been coming in from the rescue plans and all these federal programs to help parents and kids out, that's what that is. That's all that is. And not everybody has access to it. Have you been? Hey, Joe, go check next time you're at Linda's. Go in the parking lot behind the Players and see the one or two or maybe three homeless families that are living on that beach there.
Just squatting, yeah.
Definitely squatting. We're seeing a whole lot of that here. The economy is not moving forward. It just looks like it's moving forward. It isn't really. And oddly, who sees that is Tello. Tello actually had a response to somebody in one of the stories. And in fairness, I'll go ahead and talk about that. But before long, I'm going to take a break here for news and headlines with Mana Silva Tyrant. And then when we return, I'm going to see if we've got the if she sent me to the exact place in the legislature's YouTube.
Catch me outside. How about that?
So we can watch the girls fight. It's 6:30. Oh, it's like being at GW in the 80s, right? Every other day there was a girls fight, brass knuckles and bent over forks, and don't let me.
Torn shirt.
I'll buckle belt you, bro. I will buckle belt you in the face. It's 6:36 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. Havamana, what happened?
Well, session does continue, and before they moved on yesterday, they were able to put several bills on the agenda, a couple of them dealing with the Department of Education and their mandates that they have to meet before the end of the school year. One of them would give the waiver for the 180-day requirement for students, and then the second one would waive the service learning requirements. Also placed on the agenda is a bill that would extend postpone the implementation of the plastic bag ban for retail and wholesale establishments. Session continues this morning. Meanwhile, the Department of Education was facing some delays in paying after-school teachers, but they said by mid this week, by tomorrow, actually, it should be paid out. It's been over 35 days that the teachers have been paid for their after-school teaching hours. John Fernandez says it was a matter of having cash to pay them before they got the federal reimbursement. And a couple of local establishments shut down by public health after they were found with pest infestation and other issues. Joanne's Bakery was one of them. They had their sanitary permit revoked on April 15th. They've remained closed. However, the other establishment is the Agate Marina Grill. They were suspended on April 11th, but have since had their permit reinstated. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Okay, my birthday's coming up, just FYI. May the 11th. I'm 60 years old. Yep.
Oh, no, your birthday's really coming up?
It really
it's
is.
happening this time.
Yeah. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, but I don't.
Oh, there you go. Ray.
I don't want this.
You don't want that?
Sour Lake sent me this. This is, can get you some. Oh, not a onesie, but a mansie.
A mansie. I want to see. Let's everybody dress like that to Ray's birthday party.
How dare they ruin the sanctity of the Milwaukee Tool logo? I own Milwaukee Tools. That's man.
Is that you? Did she put your face there?
Does it look like?
No, that looks like.
Maybe before I trimmed it up yesterday. Sarah, that's just scary. I'll tell you what. I'll wear one if Frank wears one. If your Frank gets one and then I'll and you buy it, I'll wear one. If I have to wear it, I will wear the red. Strictly subject. It's 6:38 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. More? Wait. No, not more on the way. Do I have it?
I sent you two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first one was when they were putting the two education bills on the agenda. The argument was if they were given enough notice. That's the second one.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Wait. Check what the time is.
52 minutes, 44 seconds.
Do they say point of personal preference?
Point of personal preference. PPP. Do we have this?
Yeah, try it.
You want me to try it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Negative impacts. So,
wait. Something is making noise.
What did you do?
That's not it, right?
Okay, that's not it.
Okay, wait. Something. Well, it was making noise. Wait, if I turn this off, I just don't want to lose our feed. Okay, this Tina Rose Munya Barnes.
What time does it start in?
It's this 52:44.
Okay, good. Try.
Okay.
They are unable to comply. Number 2, Goal LU 1.2 states that the city shall discourage and, if necessary, prohibit land uses which
No,
will
that's
conflict
not the
with
one.
community's
Is that the
land
one?
use objectives for Agana Village.
Wait a
Is
second.
this
I thought I had
Go
opened
to
the
your
one I
chat.
sent you.
Go to your
Wow,
chat.
James, you had
Wait,
one job,
oh my
bro.
God, this is back.
It's a sign, dude.
It might be some kind of a sign. Okay, well, I'll
I
get to it in a
sent it to
second.
you.
All right,
No,
you
I'm so
said there's
disappointed in
you.
you.
All right, so there's 2 feeds.
Okay, the first one.
I'm sure the public also has necessary expectations for Hagana that may not be
That's right, man.
Okay, so that was the first one.
No.
Okay, now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and click on the second one and see if that's where it is.
Don't blame me.
regulate the types of businesses
I'm gonna
that
do
can
this again.
operate within Hagana. Number 3,
Paging James Howard. You've seen it. Understand the concept of YouTube. There's one I've got to keep open because it's the one that actually shows me what's happening on the YouTube. I didn't have a chance to meddle with the YouTube thing yesterday, so I have no idea if people can make comments. It doesn't look like they can over there, but you can make as many as you want to on the Facebook side. 6:40 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show. We'll look at traffic and other news in moments.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Hafa Patsy Gogri from Security Title here with information about what a title company does. The title side of our business determines who owns the property and guarantees your ownership with a title insurance policy. The escrow side acts as an independent third party, managing the transfer of money and documents between the buyer, seller, lenders, and others. Security Title has a management of real estate closings down to a science. Give us a call. We are here to help.
When one of my family members needs to be seen by a medical provider for an illness or injury that's not life-threatening but still requires immediate medical care, I go to the FHP Health Center Urgent Care. With convenient hours, no appointment needed, and medical providers I trust, I know my loved ones are receiving quality medical care. I trust the FHP Health Center Urgent Care. You can too. For more information, go to www.fhpguam.com. FHP Health Center, the island's only truly dedicated urgent care.
Hey, Juan Carlos Benitez online with us this morning.
GCB.
Hanging out. John Ray Uggan hanging out as well. The hot sister of the program, Pam Duvall, is there. And this the pragmatic and practical view here. If you got to stand on definitions, let's use this. What's to discuss? If it dangles, it's a boy. If it doesn't, it's a girl. That's all you got to do. I heard DPHSS closed down an establishment because of pest infestation. I didn't know Guadalupe was considered an establishment. But thank you very much, Jose Martinez, Jennifer LG watching the program, Mike Grace Bloss, and let me see. I thought I saw a couple of names. Harvey Egna is on board with me on this one. So we've got a thing that we talk about kind of all the time, not necessarily between us, but he thumbs up when I say it, I thumb up when he says it. It's $68 million in additional and so far unspent revenue that has come into the government of Guam, and they're all going, well, it's a sign that the economy is on the move. No, it's not a sign that the economy is on the move. It's a sign that inflation is on the move. We've got crazy, I'm sure around here, it's got to be double-digit inflation that is impacting just about everything that we are buying in the stores and in the gasoline and all of this other stuff. And as I continue to point out, and Harvey writes it maybe better than I do, this excess comes out of the pockets of the people of Guam. It is because GovGuam is collecting 5% on top of now inflated prices. GovGuam does not need to operate with a huge excess when people are struggling with inflation. This is a drag on the economy, not a positive. Essentially, high taxes removed $68 million from the economy to sit in the bank and do nothing. The excess clearly supports the need to lower the business privilege tax. Absolutely.
In my mind, nothing could be more logical and plainer. But these guys are going to go around and say, "Whoa, well, look what a great job that we did. The economy is not dead." Trust me, the economy is on life support here, and the only reason why it's doing well at all is because GovGuam continues to pay their people, and there continues to be some degree of largesse that is out there. But Economics 101 is going to indicate that a significant amount of that comes from the inflated 5% business privilege tax. Now, 6:44 in the morning. More on that. Johnny Martinez online. Remy Lynn Asanoma Edrosa. I think that's Edrosa is online. Benedosu Tautau also eyeing the onesies. I thought you might like those. Matt Galendez is there. Jim Moylan. Black onesie, buddy?
Yo, Beba.
Congressional onesie. That's what I'm saying. Joanne Cruz is there. Mark and Francis Ismael. Auntie Bennett, Lon Duenas. Lady D from up in Jigo where there's no, is it Jones or Joanne's Bakery? Do we know? Anybody? Everybody's busy. It's just me talking now. Yeah, it looks like they got shut down, Brown. Very enjoyable morning show, says Juan Benitez. I'm
sorry,
glad you
Ray. I
like
had to
it.
answer the phone, man.
That's all right. Mary Singeo Denina is online, and so is Kenny Williams. Inflation is at Carter-esque levels. Oh, boy. You think it's bad here. All you got to do is go to Hawaii. You know how I feel about, Tuesdays, right? Tuesday's always a great day.
Hawaii's great,
Great
too.
day to take a look at some of the stories that they're talking about in Hawaii. They ranked among the bottom 10 states in a new report evaluating economic competitiveness. And here's a piece of the story. Jumped right out at me. The authors said over 83,000 people have moved away from the state of Hawaii between 2011 and 2020. 83,000 people. Can you imagine that? Half of the population of Guam. Half of the population of Guam in numbers decided.
Took their spam and
I just, brah. No more that guy. Hey, let's go one time to the States. Yeah. We'll just go check out my cousins. He's over in Seattle Tide. He's in Seattle, Townside, bro. We'll go hang out with them. Anyways, it's 6:46 in the morning. Who's on the phone?
Mark Mendiola.
I haven't done the traffic yet.
No, you haven't, man. But Mark's been hard to get a hold of. So
this is
very
true.
busy.
All right, let me get him on the line. 6:46 in the morning. Mark Mendiola from the Ed Board. Good morning, Buenos. Zen Hoffaday, sir.
Hoffaday, Ray. Good morning, Joe. Mana, how's everybody?
You know what? We're doing all right. We're in our prospective gender roles here, and it looks like the Ed Board is going to be having a conversation about certain gender identities and things like that, inclusion over the next couple of weeks here. John Fernandez sent out a tweet yesterday, said the Guam Education Board will be scheduling a work session May 4th and will then hold a special board meeting on May 6th to address the issue of transgender females playing girls rugby, or I'll translate that into English, boys playing girls rugby. So you've obviously been made aware of this request for the work session and the special board meeting?
Yeah, actually, got an email from one of my colleagues, Dr. Ron McNich. He CC'd the media in his email asking me to hold a special meeting, but obviously, our board procedure has always been we do a work session where we can, get information in detail, and then if the board meeting is needed for any actionable items, of course, those are the things. Obviously, this is an issue that's coming front and center. Mm-hmm. A lot of conversation in the community. I think we acknowledge, yes, safety is a key factor when it comes to our kids in any activity, sporting or any activity that is hosted or sponsored by the Department of Education. And so it's going to be a lively discussion. There's a lot of people. When I got this email on Saturday as breaking news, actually, of course, immediately said, okay, if there's a discussion that the board wants to take, the superintendent rendered a decision based on whatever, was before him, the decision he made it. And, but be that as it may, we're going to address this issue May 4th in a work session under the Health and Safety School Committee. Mm-hmm. And then from there, if there's any actionable item, it will be forwarded to a special meeting, which that would be the only thing that could be discussed on the agenda.
Just that. Now, what information will you specifically be looking for? I mean, the thing is pretty much said and done when it comes to rugby and other contact sports. Participation by males in what would normally be a female-oriented field probably should not be allowed. Not probably should not be allowed. It's a girls' side. There's a whole boys' side over there. Go play over there.
Yeah, so obviously there's like a lot of people with different difference of opinions on this whole matter, and so what information we're going to look for. There's a lot of guidance. If I understand it correctly, there's a lot of guidance coming out of the U.S. Department of Education, or some should be coming down. I know President Joe Biden had.
Forget about anything coming from Washington D.C. Forget it. Forget it. I think we start looking at some other red states and see what kind of guidance is coming out from people that are not suspending their disbelief or what are unsupportable facts.
And that's the point, Ray. If we're going to have a lively discussion on this whole entire issue, then we need to hear from and gather all the information, because at the end of the day, it's what's being asked of the board. The superintendent made a decision based on whatever his research was on the matter, and now he's going to have an opportunity to explain to the board his rationale as to how he came to that decision.
Would you let your boys? Personally, would you let your boys play on a girls' rugby team?
Just me personally, no, I would not. That's just my personal take on it. I think, I'm an exercise scientist. That's my undergraduate degree. And so I understand the physiology of the human anatomy, and both male and female. And of course, that's my opinion. But when it comes to the board, it's one action from the board that needs to be addressed and taken. And so we're not going to shy away from this. This is up front and center for us. It's in our ESA Sports League. We're putting the rugby program together in consultation with the Guam Rugby Association here in Guam. And so obviously you want to hear from them as well, and perhaps even the parents. I know that there's, since this has broken, there's been a lot of folks that have been reaching out to the different board members stating their opinion on the matter. And so at the end of the day, for me, it has always been, and one of the tenets of our, at least under my leadership on the board, is that, we always address safe and healthy issues, and we make that as a top priority for us. And sometimes we don't make the popular decisions, but it's based on what we believe to be, the right course of action for the whole entire department. But on this case, the superintendent made a decision, and of course, the question has become whether or not the board should have been involved in that type of discussion. Obviously, when it comes to operational matters, we're bonded by the law, saying that we cannot involve ourselves in operational issues. Some of my colleagues believe that this perhaps needs to be a policy issue that needs to be addressed, and that's the route that Dr. McNitt has asked us to consider, that if there's a policy that needs to be put in place. So I've always engaged with our community, our stakeholders, and the way we do that is through our work sessions. It gives an opportunity for people to come before the board, because at the board meeting, especially at a board meeting, there's based on the policy and the law, in a special meeting, there is no opportunity for public input. And that's the reason why I said, look, let's do the work session first and get all the people around the table that needs to come in and for or against, and we need to hear from them before anything is made, any decision is being made at the board level.
A couple of issues here, Mark, that as we observe this now coming out, there are people that have bifurcated the issue, maybe along lines of convenience and comfort, and I think a lot of people are saying, transgender this, transgender that, inclusion and identity and all of those things are very important for young people that are growing up. However, boys should not be playing in a rough and tumble contact sport on the girls' team. So I think there's a lot of people that would agree with that. I think it's less comfortable to say that boys need to stay in their lanes and only play on boys' leagues, regardless of what they identify as. What was on the birth certificate, that would pretty much guide what team that you get to play with, as opposed to what we think it's okay even in non-contact sports. Should we allow guys to be playing guys playing on the girls' say track and field team?
Yeah, and that's the whole discussion surrounding this whole issue. You know what I mean? What is our community willing to to give up or to tolerate in terms of these types of decisions and choices? Obviously, of course, the student, the well-being of all the students is paramount, and then you got to look at the individual.
Well, yeah, and like I said, that's the first side of the discussion that people I think are very agreeable to discussing. It's very comfortable to have that conversation. Well, I don't want this big boy hitting the girl on the rugby field, but we got to get deeper into the conversation. Should boys be allowed to play on girls' sports teams? and in girls sports leagues. And I think the board needs to be very clear when it makes their final decisions and say firmly, no, if you are born a boy, you have to play in the boys' teams. And if you are a girl, then you play in the girls' teams.
Yeah. And you asked me a personal question, Ray, and I'm along those lines. I have 5 boys, and they're going to play sports. Of course, they identify as boys and males, so they play in sports that they want to participate in. And there are co-ed leagues out there, right? There's different ways that they can incorporate. But when it comes to contact sports, of course, those things we just got to clearly define it. And if that's the role that the board's going to play, obviously we want to get the people that have a stake in this to state their case so that we come up with the best solution to whatever this complex issue is going to be. Because at the end of the day,
I don't know that. I think we complicate it because we're trying to be as inclusive and as tolerant as possible. Where all you need to do is look at the basic science of it, and there you go. And there's some people that say, well, there's what is it, blockers that they've got there that will feminize the boys and things like that. And like I said yesterday, if you got parents that are giving that stuff to kids, they're doing it for themselves, not their kids. That's child abuse, if you ask me. 6:55 in the morning. Very interesting conversation. There's obviously more with the Ed Board and activities going on that I don't unfortunately have time for. Although I do want to touch on a couple of them while we do. You got a visit coming in from the U.S. Department of Education. What will you show them? What won't you show them? Are they going to Sanchez? Are you going to take them up to Sanchez?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They're here for to review our financials, review how we handle federal assets, and so it's actually at their request on where they want to go in terms of who they want to visit and see. So we're setting that all up. We've been very transparent with them. I had an opportunity to meet with Secretary Cardona, and it's at that level where we've been on this thing for quite some time, and we definitely need to get ourselves off of it. But at the same time, too. There's no jurisdiction in the United States that's 100% when it comes to dealing with the federal government. Yeah. And so, of course, they raise a lot of these issues. But Guam cannot be held to any different standard than what's being held by the other jurisdictions in the United States. We want the same level of treatment when it comes to us utilizing the federal resources that's given to us. I think the bigger question for us, Ray, really is, what's going to happen when these federal dollars run out? We're trying to with this federal dollars being infused into our school system, we're trying to ensure that we bring our facilities and modernize our facilities, make sure that we have the resources. Of course, initially it was to combat the coronavirus. I think we took turn a corner on that, and now we've got to be able to use these resources to make our schools and improve our schools a lot better. In regards to the Simon Sanchez, the superintendent reported.
Oh my God, snails!
With that. Yeah, unfortunately, that's, we were anticipating it coming up, and it was reported that these things, obviously, EPA and all the stuff when it comes to the environment has to be taken into consideration. We want to, trust me, if there's anybody who wants to push this issue, it's us. We'll be pushing the superintendent to get a quicker, timeline. Unfortunately, these things are not, we don't, unless they do inspections and all this stuff. So that's what was reported to us. We're hoping to turn the shovel in June, get everything lined up. I know he's going to be engaging with Geet and some other folks in the financing piece of the construction of the school and finally turn the shovel. Once we turn that shovel, that means the start of a new day for Simon Sanchez, where we're going to be able to get the construction. I just want the community to know that it's not the Department of Education that has prolonged this over a period of time. If you recall, it's just a couple of years ago where we've asked that we be in charge of the procurement process and be in charge of, going through this whole process. And so we've been very transparent as to the phases that we are going through. Unfortunately, the phase we're in right now is bottled down by something that we did not foresee.
Asked me, did we build a school were the snails there when we built the school? Is that something that maybe we can say we're kind of grandfathered in on all of that? And then I want to congratulate you on the adoption of the 5-year plan. I haven't had a chance to read it, but we'll be looking forward to watching what happens with the Ed Board. This obviously be a public conversation, and there will be stakeholder participation one way or the other.
Yeah, so Ray, my commitment to you, you've always reached out to me. I've always reached out to you when it comes to informing our public. my commitment to you is once there's an issue, once we make a decision or there's whatever course of action that the board takes, I'll be more than happy to come back on chat with you regarding it.
Be looking forward to it when it happens. 6:59 and change. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Mark Mendiola. You have an outstanding day and keep playing on the boys' side.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, 888-825-5880.
Yeah, shirts versus skins, Ray.
That's all. Yeah, that was a fun joke in the 7th grade.
Yeah, right.
Okay, the boys are shirts, the girls are skins. Hey, how about that? All right, online right now, it's if Guam primary election were held today, which gubernatorial team would you vote for? And your choices are Republicans Felix and Tony, Democrats Lou and Josh, and Democrat Mike, Nicholas, and Sabrina Salas Matanani. They've got other or I'm not voting, and it looks like this is, I don't even know why anybody else needs to run this. This is going to be a landslide victory for the all-in team. Based on what we're seeing in this online poll, 55.3% of the people that went to the Guam Daily Post have voted in favor of another 4 years for Democrats Lou Leon Guerrero and Josh Tenorio. Real Joe, where can I pick up our stickers? Where can I get the stickers for the back? Thank you for your federal funds. It's so valuable and so important to us. Stand by now. Fox News Live is coming up next on The Point. Montecito Tyron with a look at big news and headlines. Nothing major in traffic to warn you about now, but that will probably change in the next 15 or 20 minutes. Jerry Roberts and the Extra Point. It's all ahead right here on The Point.
The border debate heats up again. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House says it is mourning the loss of a Texas National Guard member, but that the state government had deployed him to the southern border, where he drowned in the Rio Grande while trying to help migrants who are now accused drug smugglers. President Biden meeting today with the Congressional Hispanic Caucus.
We have a broken immigration system that's been long overdue to be fixed. He agrees with that and is certainly happy to discuss that during this meeting or any other meeting he has with members of Congress.
Spokeswoman Jen Psaki says investments in smarter security are needed and a more effective asylum processing system. There are bipartisan calls in Congress to delay next month's scheduled lifting of Title 42, the COVID-era policy that turns away many asylum seekers. Psaki reiterating today it's a health policy and a CDC decision to end it. Missouri's Attorney General just tweeting that a temporary restraining order has been granted to keep Title 42 in place. Several states had sued. No details on a ruling yet. 2 weeks after Twitter's board bristled at the idea of an Elon Musk takeover, it is happening after marathon talks over the weekend. A $44 billion deal at $54.20 a share, Musk's original price.
He is talking about having people own their Twitter feeds. You would pay for the exposure instead of it being free. That's something brand spanking new. But there's going to be a lot of work to do going forward. And the big question, of course, what are the employees going to do? A lot of them have complained about Elon Musk coming in.
Fox Business' Jerry Willis, in a joint statement with Twitter, Musk says he wants to make the service better than ever, calling free speech the bedrock of a functioning democracy. He's expected to have a more lenient approach to policing content. Still, former President Trump tells Fox News he will not be returning to Twitter, sticking with the plan to join his own social media platform, Truth. America is listening to Fox News.
Hafide Guam, this is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. Our teams at Public Health and GITA are rolling out several new programs to make childcare more affordable for working families while supporting childcare providers and growing jobs. Programa ni Pinila ni Famaguan Guahan launched on April 5th, and we've expanded eligibility so thousands more families now qualify. Please visit guamchildcare.com to learn more about these programs and apply for relief today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus to naktak, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tuman location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
The U.S. Supreme Court hears arguments about whether the prayers of a now former high school football coach were protected free speech.
He says this is about wanting to go to the 50-yard line solo and pray silently. Well, the school district says it was much more than that he wanted students involved and that he wanted to pray aloud. So today, the justices spent a lot of time probing the school district, its attorneys, about what would have happened if he did something like go onto the field with the Ukrainian flag. Would he have been disciplined for a war protest? What if he had kneeled during the national anthem, if he wanted wanted to make a protest about social justice or other issues then.
Fox's Shannon Bream. A key question now is whether the coach should have directed students not to participate. A safe return to Earth for the first group of private citizen astronauts who spent more than 2 weeks in space.
Private aerospace company Axiom Space paid SpaceX to send 3 private citizens and their commander, Axiom VP and former NASA astronaut Michael Lopez Alegria, to the International Space Station.
Dragon SpaceX ComCheck.
Loud and clear, Sarah. Cruise to its time.
Axiom says they're not about space tourism. The crew went with scientific gear to conduct experiments, and the company is planning to build commercial space stations. The 3 men, a Canadian investor, an American real estate investor, and a former Israeli Air Force pilot, each paid $55 million to do this. They splashed down successfully in the ocean off Jacksonville, Florida, midday Monday. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning visiting the White House.
The victory capped off an incredible run by one of the most well-rounded teams in recent memory, with outstanding players at every level.
President Biden noting the team's back-to-back championships, while also commending Tampa Bay's other recent sports highlights, including last year's Super Bowl victory and the Rays winning the pennant. The Lightning giving the president a number 46 jersey. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Day. I'm the owner of Guam's largest tourist attraction group. The pandemic's been very tough for all of us, and particularly for my team members. So I'm really appreciative and grateful for the PUA assistance to our team members, and more recently, the SVOG federal grant that allowed us to reopen these facilities and re-employ everyone at a critical time when PUA ended. From myself and my team, on behalf of all of us, thank you for the federal funds that allowed us to reopen.
The federal fund you provide saved many, many jobs. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We employ about 35 technicians for our shows. Thank you for the federal funds. It kept us going.
Thank you for helping with the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for helping to save our jobs.
Thank you for the federal funds.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
$15 might not get you that far, but Chili's is bucking the trend with $15 meal deals. At Chili's, $15 gives you not 1, not 2, but 3-course meal deals complete with a drink, a starter, and an entree. Mix and match 3-course meals 15 ways to Sunday with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start, and ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Mona Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on The Point. The Guam Education Policy Board will have a working session on May 4th where they will address the issue of transgender females being allowed to play in rugby and interscholastic sports, and then a special meeting on May 6th where they will make a decision. The working session, according to Chairman Mark Mendiola, is to get stakeholder input before making that decision. The issue was sparked after debate and concern was raised over safety of the players on the field. KUAM reported girls rugby games for high school division resumed this weekend, except for the home of the Panthers. A message sent to members of the Guam Rugby Union states that games involving Guam High women's teams have been postponed until the matter can be addressed more fully with the Guam Rugby Union Board and relevant stakeholders. The issue came to light after a Tizen High coach reported that players were injured during a game with Guam High. The Department of Education says interscholastic sports guidelines currently don't address transgender players. Meanwhile, 2 bills that deal with the education requirements have been placed on the session agenda. The bills dealing with DOE was hoping that would give them a waiver for the 180-day school requirement, as well as the waiver for the service learning requirement. DOE was fearing that without these waivers, they could be sued for their inability to meet the mandates due to the pandemic closure. Session continues this morning. Meanwhile, the Department of Education says checks should be cut by tomorrow for teachers who have been teaching for after-school programs. It was held up for nearly 35 calendar days since the paperwork related to paying the Aspire employees was turned in. Under the contract, DOE has 20 working days after the receipt of the necessary documents to cut the checks. The DOE superintendent says that the checks should be cut by tomorrow. We'll have more news right after this.
In celebration of our 33rd anniversary, BK's new Whopper Melts are here. Our Whopper Melts feature 2 slices of toasted bread layered with 2 Whopper Junior patties for a quarter pound of plain grilled beef, melty American cheese, caramelized onions, and stacker sauce. Whopper Melts now available in a spicy and bacony variation made for our big Whopper fans. Top off your meal with jalapeno cheddar bites and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Whopper Melts, now available for a limited time. BK, Tumon Bay, Agana, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK, your way.
A couple of local establishments have been shut down by public health this after they were found with pest infestations and other issues. Joanne's Bakery and Refreshments in Jigo had its sanitary permit revoked on April 15th, according to the paperwork that was sent to us from public health. It was also discovered that insects, rodents, and other animals were present in the establishment. There was also no hot water and other issues that needed to be addressed. The complaint was filed with public health, which prompted the inspection. The Joanne's Bakery and Refreshments is said to have remained still closed. Meanwhile, in Agate, the Marina Grill there had its sanitary permit suspended due to the presence of insects, rodents, and other animals, but issues were addressed and the Marina Grill did have its permit reinstated. Elsewhere in the news, there is good news for Guam tourism as more airlines look to return to the island. The Guam Daily Post reporting budget airline Air Busan plans to open 5 new international routes in May, including its Incheon Guam route. Air Seoul, another low-cost carrier under the Asiana banner, also plans to gradually increase flights from Incheon to Guam, and United Airlines recently announced it too will also increase weekly flights from Japan to Guam come June. Meanwhile, the number of break-ins and thefts taking place at the Chamorro Village has many of the vendors voicing their frustration with the lack of attention that's being given to them from the management at the village. The story on KUAM has the owners of the Micronesian Jewelers reporting that she experienced 3 break-ins and another attempted break-in over the weekend. Due to the added bars on her doors, she did say that the perpetrators were unable to get inside. KUAM reports that the Guam Gallery of Art also experienced 2 break-ins since the pandemic. Phil Alcon saying that he lost nearly $6,000 worth of merchandise. The business owners are crying out for Chamorro Village to do something to upgrade the windows, the doors, and provide additional security, at least at night. The president of the Department of Chamorro Affairs, Melvin Wampat Borja, did say that due to the pandemic and the lack of action at the Chamorro Village, they have seen an increase in break-ins. He also claims that they've done a full assessment of each unit and are identifying the weak points while working to solve the security issues. He did add that while it's not ideal, it's really a result of the loss of revenue that they've experienced at the Chamorro Village. There is some good news from the report, though. Chamorro Village is hoping to resume its Wednesday night market come May 4th. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
That's, kind of what I'm looking at these days is the calendar. Today is the 26th of April.
Yeah.
So how many more days between here and when the governor is going to come out with an executive order?
I think it's 7.
That will, what's the word I'm looking for? Will extend the public health emergency. And we know that. I mean, that's a given. I mean, they've been fighting to keep this thing going forever.
Rescind the mask mandate.
Rescind the outdoor mask mandate. Should be. It would seem to me that they'd want to do something like that. I don't know. It depends on if Felix Camacho or Mike St. Nicholas are going to be making a major announcement anytime soon. So they're going to want to have that executive order kind of ready to go so that they will get the top headline in the next morning's newspaper. Watch and see how it works. 7:12 in the morning, and also got this piece of audio. It's going to be coming from, I think, Real Joe. I got this piece of audio a few minutes ago.
Please clarify what you said over the air, that it was Joanne's Bakery. Joanne's Bakery maintains a very clean establishment, has a very, very good reputation here in Jigo, and is much more of an established business than Blessed Bakery. So please, it's Blessed Bakery that got shut down, not Joanne's.
Okay, I'm not up there But I've got the paperwork from Janela Carrera that says that DEH did, as Mona pointed out in the newscast, there were 2 inspections that took place, and it very, very clearly in the DEH, that's Division of Environmental Health paperwork, say Joanne Bakery and Refreshment up in Jigo. The first was a complaint that was investigated on the 15th of April, talking about hand washing facilities, food contact surfaces, all of the things. I think if you told this up with the new monetary fines, these guys would get hit for about $15,000 here. Sewage and or wastewater not properly disposed, physical facilities not properly installed, maintained, or kept clean. They went back in and conducted another inspection based on that complaint and found that they were still in violation. So the sanitary permit was suspended due to pest infestation, etc.
So it wasn't Jones then; it was Joanne's.
Joann. Shut up. Joann Bakery and Refreshment Jigo is what it says. Is it possible that maybe somebody at the Department of Environmental Health made a mistake and put down the wrong name on the thing? I don't know. I'm not in Jigo Town, but I tell you what, if I was the owners of Joanne Bakery, I would want this lady's phone number so I'd call them up and say thanks for having our back, thanks for having our six, one way or the other. At 7:14 in the morning, here it comes. The weather mostly sunny today with highs near 87 degrees. With a heat index, it'll feel like 90. Easterly winds up to 20 miles an hour with gusts as high as 24. Partly cloudy in the forecast tonight. Overnight lows about 74 degrees. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny skies again on a Wednesday, and mostly cloudy skies following it on Wednesday evening. 30% chance of rain here today. We've already had some of those Ichibang moments on the road. Watch out for them. Sunrise this morning was at 6:02. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:35 in the morning. Didn't have a chance to do the weather. The traffic in the last hour, so I can give you an idea right now what things are beginning to look like as things busy up. Getting out of Jigo, making your way towards the Dededo area. Nothing major over at the intersection of 1 and Waiseng Song. A little bit of traffic up around the Ukadu School area. That's starting to build up. 1 and 3 starting to look like they're getting busy as well. Minor traffic up at the Navy base down in Sumai. We'll see what happens later on. 7:15. There's your news and weather together, and some traffic thrown in for fun right here on The Point.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Wendy's. Always got something fantastic for you to enjoy. The hot honey biscuit spicing up your morning. The all-white meat breakfast chicken filet drizzled with hot honey sauce and served on a warm, fluffy buttermilk biscuit. Choose wisely. It's Wendy's new hot honey chicken biscuit for breakfast only at Wendy's. We got you.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
7:17. After an incredible amount of research, we have found all of the appropriate points that will give you an understanding of just how crazy haywire chick fight it was over at the legislature yesterday. What is it? Something about the good idea fairy. Was floated around there, Telena making reference, but not looking directly at Telo Taitigui when she said it. So I think that it was her that she was talking about. Will there be more like this? Oh, absolutely. 7:17 in the morning. We'll play the audio and the video, and all I can say is my, it's going to be an interesting election here this time around, isn't it? 7:17. Well, I don't know. Think about this. I think we believe that Tello has maybe picked up her packet, and Telena has gotten a packet for Congress, has she not?
Oh, yes, she has.
Okay, so Uncle Ted mentioned something on the YouTube feed for Bob the other day. Said I was going to have an emotional crisis or breakdown. I don't know I'd say that, but something about maybe there's going to be some big news today. Is it possible that Telena will be today expressing a firm, now that we know that Mike St. Nicholas isn't running for Congress? Maybe Telena's thinking, well, I can whip Jimmy in this. What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Big fight for the congressional race? Possible. I don't know. We'll see. 7:18 in the morning. All right. Where are we supposed to go in this portion of the program? We'll take a look at what happened on the numbers. Big news today in social media. Big news all over the internet scene is that Elon Musk has made a bid and bought Twitter. It's over now, right?
I'm joining now.
Finally?
I decided to join finally.
All right, and then what was it in the Fox News Live? They were talking about there's a whole bunch of employees. Nobody's factored in what their feelings are and what how they feel about Elon Musk taking the thing over. And I say, it goes like this in the private sector, in the real world. If you don't like the owner of the company that you work for, quit your job. I quit. I'm sorry. I don't see things eye to eye with you. I just don't know. So if you don't, if you absolutely can't do it, then just quit the job. For some reason, this is taking a little bit longer than I needed to. So I'm going to go back to noting a couple of things. That lady that sent the voice message in says double check. All right. So I double checked. We've clarified the information that, as reported by the Department of Environmental Health, the Division of Environmental Health over at DPHSS, says it's Joan Bakery, however you want it. I just go. It's the place to get. It's the place to get chupao and bread when you're up in Jigo.
It's Joanne's. I'll still eat there
with the egg inside.
I'd still eat there. And so she sent me a note back. She says, "Crap." How come you didn't send me a voice message with you saying crap? I would have loved to hear that. You have a beautiful voice, by the way.
Wait, crap what?
Crap, this AM, big board in front of the front door at Blessed Bakery, no lights on. And my response is,
that one too?
Oh, my God, there's no bread in Jigo. You want bread? Maybe that's why there's a big line in front of.
Ray.
I was I was looking at see where all that traffic is up in Jigo. That's Payless, right? That's everybody in Jigo trying to get to the nearest Payless so that they can go buy bread. They have it at the 76 Circle K up there too. You can go and get bread and milk and eggs. 20 after 7 o'clock in the morning. Let me see if I've got the numbers up here on the Gizmo to find out where the economy is headed. Hold on. Oh my God. Slow today. But the markets have turned around. Need a little bit more room to turn around a little bit. S&P 500 up by about 25 points. 42.96. NASDAQ up by 165 points. They're at 13,004. Dow Jones Industrial Average 34,049. Yesterday we were reporting a massive sell-off on the Dow over the weekend, but it looks like they've gained some ground back. But only 238 points. I don't know that I've got some numbers for you on Tapas. I'll look that up in a second. Big winners on the S&P: Moderna, Match Group, Fortinet, Twitter, and Penn National. Big winners on the NASDAQ side include Moderna, Match Group, Mercado Libre, Fortinet, and Zscaler. Big losers. Still, Netflix is having a hard time recovering from the news that they had lost a whole bunch of subscribers. ASML Holdings, SiriusXM, Illumina, and Charter Communications. Looking at Johnson & Johnson, big winners on the Dow. Microsoft, American Express, Salesforce.com, and Home Depot rounding out the big winners on the Dow. Losers include Verizon, Chevron, Nike, Dow Inc., and Boeing Company in the mix as well. We'll take a look at what's happening in the commodities. Gold at $18.99, off by, oh my God, what is that, 35 cents, dollar, something like that? No, it's actually closer to about $35 worth of a drop here. I've got oil trading at $98.62. Good news on the West Texas crude front. I'll scroll down real quick and see what I can get you on the Tapas. In the meantime, Real Joe, how about a Bitcoin number for everybody?
40,124.
Biba. The Bitcoin. We don't actually look at it. There's others, right? There's other cyber currencies that we could look at.
This is the most famous one.
Bitcoin, Tapas is frozen for the third day, $111.56. Hopefully, it is following West Texas crude down. 7:22 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number around here for all kinds of stuff. Jerry Roberts is getting ready to take care of the extra point in minutes. A reminder, we've got 2 times, Jerry, the 1% solution revisited. And you will recall once upon a time that the 1% solution was just give it Just one more.
One more.
Just one more mile.
One more mile. One more lap.
10 more reps.
One more call.
Just take it as way to what do they call it? To fatigue?
Yeah.
To failure. Take it to failure.
Another beer.
That's what
the
you
power
want.
of just one more.
One more beer. Yes. And she'll be beautiful. We'll drink her pretty. It's 7:23 in the morning. All right. I was looking at a couple other numbers here. It's Tuesday. We like to take a look at what's happening in Hawaii on Tuesdays for many different reasons. Number one, it's a pretty good canary in a coal mine for us. If bad things are happening there, we might be able to anticipate bad things are going to happen around here as well. The American Legislative Exchange Council put together their rich states, poor states analysis, ranking them based on economic performance and overall economic outlook. Hawaii came in 43rd. That would be out of 50 states. 43rd of 50. The state's economic performance scored lower at 47. They used three variables to come up with the ranking: gross domestic product, non-farm payroll employment, etc. The authors said over 83,000 people have moved away from Hawaii between 2011 and 2021. Yep. All right, now to put that into perspective, that's about half of the population of Guam.
Yes, it is.
Can you imagine if we woke up tomorrow and discovered
half of everybody was gone?
Be able to get into Moses on a Saturday night. Tell you that. It might be a little bit extra, maybe some extra parking over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. But that says a lot. That's a significant number of people that are voting with their feet, saying, all right, so much for the aloha economy. And this is already after things like their hospitality industry begins to come back. So what is it that is causing people to move? Big taxes.
Big taxes. Bad governance.
Oh, boy.
Is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been known for that for a long time, having a lousy government. And then you get the cost of living is just outrageous. Of course, lousy government contributes to that.
Yeah, well, and so you take a look at that cost of living, and it's arguable that we would be experiencing the same things here on Guam. I mean, and maybe even worse.
When people leave here, when either it's family, right? They get family in the mainland, aging parents, that kind of thing. You hear those things, quite frequently. Kids and grandkids are all over there, and they're left over here, and they'll move. And then, but a lot of people, when you see it posted somewhere, they're talking about the cost of living. Can't buy a house in Guam. Can't afford the down payment. Can't afford this. Can't afford that.
And that's with both parents working.
Yeah. And, the highest costs under the American flag, for the essentials. And you look at those things, and wages are low comparatively. We all have, family members or friends back in the mainland right now earning $20 in a drive-through somewhere, and it goes up from there. So
and that $20 goes a lot further than $20 goes around here. I was telling Mana yesterday, I had dinner last night at a restaurant in town. Two of us, 3 beers between us. Right, I wasn't pushing, but it was the two of us, and I don't want to say 3 entrees. It was one that was like an appetizer, and then a couple of entree items. And after it was all said and done, tip included, $80. Yeah, $80 for 2. And the beer was up around, I don't know, $6 or $7 and a quarter for each of them. Just a 12-ounce Corona. I think the beer itself might have only been $4, but it's $3.25 for the little lime that goes on the inside that they put in there, kind of mandatory. The costs are going up, so that's eating out. But even eating in, is just as
the costs are getting close.
They're starting to mirror each other. 7:27 in the morning, and maybe that's what the retailer's saying. Just one more dollar. Just in the government of Guam, just 1 more % in the BPT, just one more. It's the power of the 1% solution. Find that in the Guam Daily Post. Right now, you get them on the Extra Point. Jerry Roberts, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank.
What do you do when you have a disruptive worker in your organization, one who goes against the grain almost all the time? What steps do you take to solve the problem? Let's talk about those employees who just don't seem to fit the mold. That's next on the Extra Point.
Technology is the great connector. It puts songs in your pocket, connects long-lost friends, and has made the world easier, faster, and smarter. And now, First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app can help you do the same with your money. Whether you want real-time financial tracking with MoneyMap or tailored advice on your personal finances with daily insights, we're giving you the power to connect to your finances from anywhere, like never before. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Many years ago, during a leadership event, much like our annual program, Live to Lead, one of the speakers brought up the issue of having workers in our midst who are just different, sometimes to the point of being disruptive. What should we do when that happens? He asked. Now, there are behavioral issues. We know that happens sometimes in the workplace. Other times, they're just people who don't seem to fit. They just think kind of differently. Well, seeing as though I'd sometimes been called a little bit disruptive in my day. I know that's hard to believe. I was intently focused on his presentation. The speaker was a man named Tom Peters, one of the biggest names in the leadership, authoring, and speaking business in the 1990s and the first decade of the 2000s. Peters was known as outrageous, someone who didn't just simply push the envelope, so to speak. He pulled it, twisted it, lit it on fire, and loved tweaking the noses of the more conservative thinkers of his day. In his talk that particular day, he advocated finding a couple of quote-unquote freaks in your organization and including them in serious thinking and planning for the group. He said those kinds of people might look different, dress different, and act different, but they also might come up with different ideas for you because they don't see things the way everybody else sees them. Peters reminded me of something I'd learned years before. If you're going to go into a planning session, everybody there thinks exactly like you do. What are they there for? What good are they? You need people who can take the ideas and pull them and push them and twist them and turn them inside and out and make new ideas out of them. Normal, everyday folks don't usually have that ability. Freaky people do. It's not that everything they come up with is new and world-shattering, but once in a while, you just might get blown out of your socks with something you'd have never thought of in 100 years. And it'd be that idea that opens doors for you. In the last 20-plus years, since meeting Tom Peters that day, I have repeated his mantra to CEOs and business owners, always asking the question, so who are the freaks here? It always gets a laugh, but it could get a lot more for you under the right circumstances. Organizations are being challenged today like never before. They need all the ideas they can get, and they need as many people involved in that process as possible. The next time you plan a brainstorming session, don't set it up for just a drizzle. Invite some different kinds of folks, and maybe you'll catch some thunder and lightning. Tomorrow, we'll have more on creating the kind of environment where more people, maybe even the freaky kind, will want to contribute. That's the Extra Point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Just curious if you follow along the same lines of thinking that I do. Elon Musk has bought Twitter, and now I'm sure the shareholders are very, very happy about the purchase, a significant increase over what the share value is. Twitter's board of directors launched its defense, blah, 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 blah. And now we've got some employees that have gotten very, very vocal on that channel and many others expressing their distinct displeasure with the idea of working for Elon Musk.
See ya.
What do you do? Would you refer to them as disruptive employees?
No.
You keep those guys. Can Elon Musk go in here and like day one say, I saw what you wrote about me on Twitter. Out.
No.
Out.
I wouldn't do
pension.
that. I wouldn't do it.
Keep them, yeah.
You just let them quit on their own.
No, well, I don't know. I think you walk in there and you start doing the Elon thing.
Bring Trump back.
Well, whatever you're going to do with all that, I think you go in and you let the employees know that you're there to build a great company.
Yes.
And hopefully, if they've got the talent and they have the desire to stay, you let them know. Sometimes we can disagree on things, and if you got the talent, and you want to be here, I'd like you to be here, and you go from there.
You think there'll be abdications on the board?
Sure.
There'll be some guys pulling out their little Twitter swords and falling right on it.
Absolutely.
It'll be fun to watch over the next couple of days. And literally, I mean that, over the next couple of days. I think things are going to happen at Elon Musk speed. 7:32 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts in the Extra
You
Point.
think Zuckerberg is looking?
What's their share value looking like these days?
I don't know. I'm not sure how much he has, but he's taking notes. And there's no question about it.
Sure.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy if it happens to him.
Can you feel the tide turning, though? I mean, there might be, and it would only be the absolutists on the left side that don't get what's going on, and a desire for people to be able to communicate freely without having to worry that somebody is going to put a little sticker on their quote, or send them, as they often do with Real Joe, to Twitter and Facebook jail.
90 days ago, who on the left thought that Elon Musk was going to own Twitter? Who?
Zero.
Yeah. Their world has just been turned inside out.
Turnt is the word that Sarah likes to use. Turnt. All right, one last note before we get to Mana and news and headlines around here. It's another piece of bad news coming out for the folks in Hawaii, and it has to do with food costs there. There's a report from the Economic Policy Institute that says the average family of four across the country would expect to pay about $10,000. I'm rounding up. It's $9,800 on food in 2022. I rounded that up to $10,000 because it feels like that's probably a little bit more accurate given the temperature these days. And the 16 or 17 food processing plants that have mysteriously been blown up, exploded, caught fire in the last couple of months. About $10,000 worth of food in 2022. That comes out to about $833 a month for a family of four, mom and dad and two kids. That feel about right for what you guys might be spending out there?
Oh, here? Are you kidding me?
$833 a month. Yeah.
Oh,
for food. No. Mostly dining in. Mostly dining at home.
Wow. If it's $833 the average across the mainland?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Oh, here. What are we? 1,000?
All right.
11, 12?
Hawaii is at about $14,000 a year, or about 11 a month. That's Hawaii.
Yeah.
So how much further away are we?
Sure, yeah.
Increases in the business privilege tax. They've got certain holidays and other exemptions that might be at play there. But that's what people around here are looking at, $1,000 a month that goes to keeping a family of four full and satisfied. And we wonder why there's so many folks that are in the SNAP programs. It's 7:34 in the morning.
Or shopping on base.
Or shopping on base. Or, I know a guy over at Cost You Less. I tell you what, can I save money if I buy ugly food and ugly vegetables? No, there are places that do that. There are food processing plants where we've got an expectation. This is what an avocado looks like. Every avocado that comes off the tree doesn't look like the textbook avocado. Tastes just as good, but and that's I'm nodding in Kenley and Guerrero's direction because he made a note on Facebook the other day. His avocado tree's beginning to sprout. And I remember you wanted some last year, and I'm going to get some this year. Yeah. So I'm just going to, Ken, if you're listening, hey, avocado season. I'll take the ugly ones. And there are companies that will do that, that will find the ugly fruit and vegetables, sell it to you at a discount. 7:35 now with Montesilva Tyrant, and a look at news and headlines. This one being brought to you by Burger King. Have you tried the new melts that they've got there? I have. They're awesome. There's a spicy one, a bacon one, and just a regular old Whopper with lots of cheese on it, melted goodness. You need to try those today. The spicy one with, they call it spicy because it's got these great crispy jalapeno chips on the inside, and they've got these onions, sauteed onions. Now, I'm not huge with onions, but they saute them to exactly the right tenderness and flavor and color. I think that makes a difference as well. So check them out today over at Burger King. The 7:30 News also brought to you by Holiday Realty's Lolita Kamet. Reach out to her at 688-6743 for your real estate dreams come true. Now with news and headlines, Montesilva Tyrant.
The Education Policy Board will have a meeting early next month where they will address the issue of transgender females being allowed to play in interscholastic sports. The issue came up after a rugby game in which Teedson coach says that some of his players were injured by a transgender player out of Guam High. The Education Board will have a working session on May 4th where they hope to get stakeholder input before they make a decision when they meet on May 6th. Meanwhile, the Department of Education had a couple of bills that they hoped would get onto the session agenda, and those have been added to the agenda for senators to address. One of them would give DOE a waiver for the 180-day school requirement for students, and then the other waives the requirement for service learning hours. DOE was fearing that they wouldn't be able to meet meet the local mandate because of the pandemic closures of their local schools. Session does resume this morning. Meanwhile, the public schools after-school teachers will get paid. The Department of Education said that there were some delays in getting those checks cut, but those teachers will be paid by tomorrow. And those are your top stories here on The Point.
Okay, I got you. 7:37 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. We'll close up here and take a quick break. And as we do set up the next portion of the program, we got Mayor Alley calling in before too much longer. But Mana has done an incredible amount of research, and she's figured out YouTube. So we'll be able to bring you some very, very interesting, enlightening, and thought-provoking audio and video from the legislative session yesterday where there was a cat fight. Be right back.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Traffic is coming up next. He says, okay, Groovy, let me get it to you. A little bit of traffic, less traffic up in Gigo. Now, looks like everybody's moved off through Ipao into Waisang Song. That's running a little bit busier now. 1 and 3, it's just ugly from Ugadoo all the way to the intersection. Once you get there, it's going to ugly up there, too. I'm sorry, slower traffic than normal getting through the Micronesia Mall intersection. The rest of 16, not looking so bad till you get to 8, 10, and 16. Watch the dog and out traffic on Route 8 all the way into the downtown Agutnya area. Looking at traffic slowing down at Roy T. Damien into that intersection over by the laundromats over there. Not exactly sure why. Maybe there's an accident. Maybe somebody just is afraid to go. Sometimes that'll happen. You just get, paralysis. Where you go? Do I go now? I don't know. There's the car coming over there. What about that guy over there who's in front of me? Do I let him go? Wait, there's the lady with the suitcases. I don't want to run her down. So be very, very careful through there and expect some delays. Also, a little bit of traffic up by Nimitz and the Navy. What's the manager's office there? Joint Region up there?
Rear Admiral.
Thank you very much. Command Sergeant Major. Army SEAL, number 1, that's us. And a little bit of traffic getting into Big Navy and Sumai. In 20 minutes, it's 8 o'clock. Dr. Vince Akimoto going to join us.
Are you looking for a new place to hang out with your friends? Let's go along the sidelines at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Located at 154 Iriarty Road, Unit 4 and 5 in Tamuning behind Royal Bigs. Sidelines, a hidden gem with nothing but great things to offer. Great atmosphere, great food, top shelf drinks, and a great team. What are we waiting for? Let the fun begin at Sidelines Bar and Grill. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. See you there.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
741 on the Ray Gibson Show. Portions brought to you by my friends over at NissanGuam.com and the World Wide Web. You're going, Ray, you got friends at a website? Yeah, I'm that connected. I'm cyber, bro. We're all like that. We're jacked in, as the famous author William Gibson used to say. And something that you need to know about Nissan, you can get more smiles per gallon. And they want me to introduce you to the 30-plus mile per gallon club. Real Joe heard 30-plus, and the next two words were single mom club. No, Real Joe, we're talking about savings and economy in fuel. The Versa, 35 miles per gallon. Sentra, 33 miles per gallon. Altima, 32 miles to the gallon. Want more? How about this? The Kicks will get you 33 miles to the gallon. And if you're interested in significant new electric technology, check out the Nissan Leaf, 111 miles to the gallon. How do they do that? Ask Elon Musk. He's an electric car wizard, not me. Check him out today. Test drive and pick your favorite in your favorite color at Nissan. On screen right now. Yeah, sunrise aboard the Herodot, back underway for American President lines. And you might be wondering, what's for breakfast? What is Carl and the crew eating for breakfast aboard the at the Herodot? It is long silog. Tuesday.
Little sausages.
Is that what that is?
I don't know. Looks like little sausages.
Looks like
Ray.
little sausages. But I'm no biologist. It's 7:42 on the Ray Gibson Show. Wait a second. I know somebody that had to study biology to become a doctor. It's my guy, Dr. Vince Akimoto. Buenos and Hava Day, Doc.
Hey, good morning, Ray.
What's on your mind?
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say how great you are at your job. In fact, your entire team is slick. I mean, everyone on the point is on point. And it's got to be tough sometimes because you really never know when you take a caller like me what exactly we're going to say. So just before it gets going, I just want to congratulate you for being so I guess, on point.
Well, how dare I second guess you? As far as I'm concerned, you are a significant member of the medical community here on Guam, and generally I will tend to agree with many of the points that you make. I'm not sure, but are you calling this morning to support any of the activities going on with the Father Duenas golf team?
I think as long as they represent the school, in true honor, I think win or lose, we will always support them. But not exactly.
Not
sure
for today. Okay, well, give me an opportunity. Give me an opportunity to talk about this. I ran into Huey's daughter, and she's got a kid playing golf for Father Duenas, and she gave me a beach towel with the FD kind of Phoenix flag on it. You know, it's the whole kind
those
of
are
logo thing.
Expensive, Ray.
Yeah, they are.
Know
you know what? Yeah, they're $30.
You pay her.
But she said you got to talk about this on the radio and take it to the beach and put a bikini and your cooler on it and take a picture so we can, it could be something about me being an influencer, but I'll work on all of that. So what did you call about today?
Well, I mean, I think there's so many issues going on, but we'll just focus on the one that's the most pressing. The governor's about to make a State of the Island address, and we hope it's going to, reflect the true vision of Guam, and she needs to stay positive because she's running for re-election, but I mean, she also needs to be honest, right? There's a lot of people suffering, and it doesn't ring true, or it doesn't feel right if you get lied to. So, we can't say the streets are safe, right? There's too many videos and pictures and hurting, moms and dads when their kids are getting beat up at the skate park. There's no way you can tell the police officers or the people that our homes are getting broken into that the streets are safe, or even their homes are safe, because there's homes invasions and the police officers are saying this, and this is brutal, that they've never seen so much drug crime in Guam. And these are guys going back to when heroin was just a little baby. So, we're seeing something very dangerous, and it'd be dangerous for politicians to try to spin this, a way that they wish it was. The streets are violent, kids are rioting in the schools, and babies are coming to the hospital broken. So this is not fun and games. And so as the governor prepares her State of the Island address, hopefully she's listening to people who are actually in the streets doing the work, and also listening to the people that aren't there. Dr. Ishmael over at Mental Health has been trying to hold that ship up by himself. He's told his bosses there many times that he can't do this by himself, and he's not going to. So he has taken leave. And he has to take leave for his own sanity. And when he goes, there is no doctor in the house. And then there hasn't been once a notice given to the community that that's the case. So people with severe mental illnesses are going to there thinking that there's a psychiatrist who can rightly prescribe very difficult medicines in time of need, right? You don't go to the hospital so that somebody can practice on you. Or, again, this is no slight to anybody, but you can't run a hospital just with nurses. You need nurses, absolutely.
Yeah, but you got to have somebody that can write out a prescription for an injection that will help calm those thoughts. silence those
but
thoughts.
the nurses, there are special nurses, nurse practitioners who are doing that. They have been doing that, and that's the whole point of this call. Is that's fine within a system where there are checks and balances, and then there are. When you call it a psychiatric hospital, you have to have a psychiatrist. And what Dr. Ishmael and his colleagues have said repeatedly over the last 5-10 years is you need 5 psychiatrists in that system so that the psychiatrist there can work. It can't just work with. It's like having a car with one wheel. You need 4.
So what you're saying is the guy that would normally be there is out right now for mental health break. But fortunately, though, I think
what I'm saying is the 5 people that were supposed to be there all along are not there, and many times there's nobody there. They have doctors from the community who are willing to put their licenses on the line and do something that they're not qualified to do. God bless them. And so it is a dangerous situation for anybody to believe that our mental health system is not broken. It is beyond broken. In fact, we're not going to just criticize without solutions this morning because we got to go to Feel Good Friday pretty soon. It's all about leadership because apparently the Department of Mental Health is drowning in money, just like John Fernandez is drowning in money over Department of Education, and his problem, and he's a leader, is to spend the money wisely so that he can get out of receivership because the feds have historically found that Department of Education has wasted money. So I think he's had a bunch of clean audits. He's confident that his team justifies the lifting of the receiver and the very expensive fees that they charge. DPW thought they did too when they told everybody that they were out of receivership with the dump, but it turns out that was a lie. I mean, we're still in receivership at the dump, and we're paying, I heard recently, $23 million in fees. So this is not a good thing. But Department of Mental Health, with all its problems and the lack of solutions and the really imminent danger that this poses to the community today, right now, today, and then in light of the fact that the Marines are not coming, the U.S. Marines, the United States Marines are not coming. They're here already. I mean, their leadership is here. The barracks are going up. Their team is here to prepare the way. But 5,000 U.S. Marines are going to come here to call this place home, and sometimes they're going to get in trouble. So our mental health system, and it's going to be mental health problems, right? PTSD, substance abuse, family violence. Yeah. They're just going to add to the mix that already exists in Agate and Jonian. and it's going to hurt. I mean, it's not going to be painless. And so I don't know where mental health can say we're working on it, or let me get back to you, or that's a great
here comes the snarky line here. Are those the metrics by which they are judged, or are they judged on the number of fundraising tickets that are sold?
Okay, you can be snarky because you're the host, but I'm going to say that you have a great show. Your team is really slick. But yeah, the serious message here is that there are lawyers, one of them named Dan Summerfleck, who has historically been successful at getting paid to put mental health into receivership. And he's a local guy, so, I mean, the good thing about him is he cares. So when he sues you, I mean, he's doing that, in a friendly way to try to improve the situation.
For the community.
So, yeah, for the kids. But, this is the reality. The violations that mental health are committing now are more than likely what Dan Summerfleck was successful at putting mental health into receivership before, and it's only been about 5 years since mental health got out of federal receivership. The condition has degenerated beyond repair. Everything that the receiver had stipulated and then created has fallen apart, and the local leadership is creating nothing but excuses, and they're looking for some other metric by which to get measured so they could say that, it's unique to Guam. Well, what's unique to Guam is how long we've gone without going back into receivership, because most people who have been in receivership are on a short leash. So I think, and we will declare on your show, because you like to have breaking news, that I agree with any lawyer who thinks that their client has rights have been violated when they go to the government facility for care, believing that there's a psychiatrist there, believing that the system is intact and is able to create, a better environment. That system does not exist. It's probably not existed for the entirety of the pandemic. Ever since the last psychiatrist that they were able to recruit, Dr. Pasitempo, went back to Alaska, ever since he, basically came into the news and created all this question about how is it that we're recruiting a psychiatrist to Guam, to what depths will we stoop, right? Since that's all happened and there's been no improvement, I agree with any attorney who believes that they should sue the Department of Mental Health back into federal receivership. And that's just passing the buck because we already.
No, I appreciate that. Are you submitting your prediction that it's going to happen or could happen based on your observations? Are you saying it's going to happen?
For the safety of the kids, the safety of the adults, the safety of the families, it has to happen because the leadership apparently didn't believe Dr. Pesatempo the last time he went on leave. They let him go, let that facility have no psychiatrist, and they didn't tell me. I mean, I'm one of the busiest doctors on Guam. I should know when that hospital doesn't exist, right? When it finally closes the door and doesn't exist, so my mental health patients have no recourse, there should be a notice.
Something in the news. I got you. 7:53. Dr. Vince Akimoto, I appreciate your time here this morning, and you're highlighting, I think, one of the failures that we've consistently had in our total healthcare system, and that is mental health and substance abuse. You start seeing things like videos floating around of some woman taking a dump out in what I believe to be Harmon. Another video that was floating. Was it? And another video for the same intersection. There's something about that intersection where we've got a woman that is dancing to a tune on her head, risking her life, dancing across the roadway, standing at the intersection, putting on some sunglasses, and then walking off the street. Clearly, we have got a mental health issue here on Guam, and to the degree that it is being addressed, I don't know. To the degree that it is being noticed and documented in videos from taxpayers and citizens around here, easy to acknowledge. 7:55 in the morning. We'll watch and see how the rest of this all plays out.
Thank you, Ray.
All right. Hold on a second. Just stay there because it looks like Teresa Ariola, the director of the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse, would like to have a word with you. Good morning, Chet.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Guam.
Havade.
I understand somebody's on the radio talking Guam behavioral health and mental health, so I thought I better call in.
Yes. To what degree are you staffed with psychologists that are at mental health and able to see patients on a going basis?
Psychologist or psychiatrist?
A psychiatrist. Sorry.
Because we have them both.
You have them both on in the building
on payroll, yes.
Well, on payroll, but yes, I mean they're because Vince is saying that there's nobody there other than maybe nurse practitioners.
Vince who?
Akimoto.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just somebody had messaged me that I need to call the point.
Okay.
So I didn't hear what Vince said, but Dr. Vince Akimoto, but I'm not sure what he's talking about because I have a psychiatrist, Dr. Ishmael. I have a psychologist, Dr. Fergiger and Dr. Angela Lego. I have medical doctors, Dr. Davina Lujan and Dr. John Titano. I have a nurse practitioner, Dr. Carla Haddock, with prescription authority. So,
he'd indicated that Dr. Ishmael was out of town on leave.
He is, as of yesterday, for a couple of weeks.
But there are adequate backups that are on the team in the office this morning to take care of individuals that might show up with mental health issues.
Absolutely. Our medical doctors are.
Ray, can I participate?
That's why I left you there. Yeah.
Yes, Ms. Ariola, we appreciate what you're saying, and this is the same thing you said the last time Dr. Pesatempo left. And he was gone for more than a couple of weeks. And he had indicated that he would not come back unless you hired somebody to help him because he's been alone for a very long time.
Are you talking about Dr. Pesatempo?
No, I'm clearly talking about Dr. Ishmael.
Okay.
The person who
well,
keeps
I'm not
telling you
sure. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, but I think I know my doctor's status, right? So Dr. Ishmael's on annual leave.
Ms. Ariola, let's just cut to the chase. When you have a psychiatric inpatient facility and you have no psychiatrist in the house, do you still have a psychiatric hospital? Would any
First of all, Dr.
allow you to operate without a psychiatrist on site? Would anybody allow you to operate an inpatient facility with seriously ill psychiatric patients on very, very difficult drugs? you need to be crystal clear because you're about to speak to a federal receiver. Can anybody in their right mind allow you to operate a psychiatric hospital without a psychiatrist, not just on Guam, but in the facility?
You are absolutely correct in that respect because we do not have a psychiatric hospital. Guam Behavioral Health is not a psychiatric hospital. So let's be very, very clear. You're right. Let's paint the right picture because Guam Behavioral Health is not a psychiatric hospital. We are a community, and we have a community clinic, and we have an inpatient unit for adults and children. So please, absolutely, I agree with you. Let's paint the right picture for our people.
And how many psychiatrists have you been quoted as being needed to maintain mental health on Guam? I'll tell you the number, it's 5. And you had 3 at one point when Pastor Temple was here, and the 2 that were here, including the one that retired, said you need to get more. And apparently,
absolutely, I wish I could. I wish I could.
But what is
find me a psychiatrist, Dr. Akimoto.
Wait, just stop. Back up. What is the danger?
Excuse me. Please don't tell me what to do.
Oh my goodness. You're a public servant. You should listen to the people.
Doc, allow me. Doc, it's unfortunate that this is the first time you and I've had this conversation.
I've left messages.
Really? You left messages for me? But anyway, I would love to have a conversation with you on how you can help me.
You know what? We are going to have that conversation in front of the Guam Medical Association because there's a lot of doctors that would love to help. Now, the reality is,
absolutely. I reached out to the Guam Medical Association for doctors.
A lot of jurisdictions, and the biggest.
Absolutely, you are absolutely correct. Because there's a national, not even national, I think you can agree to this, a worldwide shortage of psychiatrists.
Right. But
worldwide, Doc.
Almost got one, right? They almost got Dr. Pasatiempo because they were willing to, spread their legs for that. But the deal is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean in Alaska. You keep bringing Dr. Pasatiempo. Dr. Pasatiempo left us because of a legal issue, right? And so.
He left because he was humiliated.
Well, he left because they had a legal issue. Oh, yeah, of course. He left because he was embarrassed.
7:59. Well, I don't know how much enlightenment we're going to get out of this conversation in the time that we've got left before Fox News.
But actually, Ray, can I just say that I welcome Dr. Akimoto and any doctor's assistance in finding me a very, very hard-to-fill psychiatrist. The good news, though, is 2 of the retirees, which is not Pasatiempo, the 2 retirees of last year, Dr. Gahal and Dr. Victor Perez, are talking to me right now about coming back as a part-time. And then, of course, we have several psychiatrists who we are recruiting to come in, and hopefully that will come to fruition. So, yes, the one thing I wanted to point out is it is very difficult to find a psychiatrist. I have talked to psychiatrists on Guam, Dr. Kirk Bellis, Dr. Ishmael, and I said, find me one of you. It's difficult. They can't even find. They're looking at their folks that they went to school with. And so I do welcome Dr. Akimoto's any guidance. And actually any doctors. Because one thing is for sure, we do have a lot of issues, and most especially in the drug and alcohol arena, unfortunately.
Significant problems here on Guam, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to solve this problem on the radio with a lot of back and forth.
But I do appreciate anybody's help. So I look forward to Dr. Akimoto calling me at 482-9231.
8:01 in the morning. Doc, I'm going to let you go. Chet, I'll talk to you soon. It's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.
Thank you, Ray.
No, you're welcome. Welcome to call in. Always nice to get both sides of the story on the radio. We'll jump into Fox News now and come back with news with Mana Silva Tyron.
Listening to Fox News.
We're already
already Pica's best radio station, but we're always looking for ways to be even better. Announcing The Point on Alexa. In addition to our FM and HD radio feeds, our incredible app, informative website, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, you can now tell Alexa to stream The Point. And your smart speaker will start playing whatever we're saying. News and views 24/7 with your 4-word command. Alexa, stream The Point.
It's time for a fresh moment from Ruby Tuesday Guam. The Fresh Garden Bar is back to self-service, and for a limited time, you can feel the freshness for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99. You can also add on grilled chicken or grilled salmon for a few bucks more. The Fresh Garden Bar is back to self-service and available all day long. So come on in for a fresh moment at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
A woman sentenced to death in Texas for killing her child is spared for now.
Melissa Lucio was to receive a lethal injection Wednesday for fatally beating her 2-year-old daughter Mariah in 2007, but an appeals court on Monday granted a stay so a lower court can review the case. Many lawmakers, celebrities, and even some of the jurors who condemned Lucio called for her execution to be halted. Lucio's attorneys question the validity of her confession and argue new evidence shows the child's injuries were caused by falling down a steep staircase. Prosecutors doubt new evidence would exonerate the 52-year-old. They also note Lucio had a history of drug use and at times lost custody of her 14 children. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
4 bodies have been recovered from Chicago's waterways within 1 week.
It should not make you think that there's a serial killer working the streets of Chicago. The fact that you suddenly have 4 bodies showing up the Chicago area waterways in the period of a week. When they drown in the wintertime, the water here is very cold, frozen or just above freezing, and the bodies stay refrigerated. Therefore, they don't produce gases as they decompose. If they're underwater, they stay underwater until you get to weather like this where the water has heated up to about 40 degrees, the bodies start to decompose, they produce gases, and bodies that have been underwater for months can suddenly all start appearing at the same time.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Chicago, a Massachusetts business executive who was sentenced to 15 months in prison in the college admissions cheating scandal, is appealing his conviction, arguing that he believed he was making legitimate donations to get his 3 children into elite universities. John Wilson, who was convicted on a range of fraud and bribery charges, his lawyers argue that he's different from the dozens of other parents charged in the scheme, saying his children were all qualified to get into the colleges they sought entry to, and Wilson never knew any single person who would benefit from those payments. His lawyers are asking for an acquittal or a new trial. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Hoffaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit Nambo.com for more information.
Off a day, it's 8:06. I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on The Point. As public health inspectors plan on going to visit business establishments that may be in violation, and we'll be looking at imposing some fines. A couple of local establishments, they announced, have been shut down by public health inspectors after they were found with a number of violations to include pet infestations and other issues. Joanne's Bakery and Refreshments in Gigo is one of them. They had their sanitary permit revoked on April 15th after it was discovered to have insects, rodents, and other animals inside the establishments. There's also no hot water and plumbing issues that were identified throughout the establishment, as well as facilities not being properly installed or kept clean. The inspection was prompted by a complaint that was filed with Public Health. The establishment remains closed. Meanwhile, in Agate, the Marina Grill had its permit revoked on April 11th due to also presence of insects, rodents, and other animals, but issues were addressed and the establishment was reopened. Meanwhile, the government of Guam collected $68 million more in the general fund revenue than it budgeted for in the first half of the fiscal year, but some senators are cautioning against trying to spend the excess amounts given still uncertain pandemic year and the need to fund pay raises, according to the Guam Daily Post story. The healthy collection continues through September 30th. GovGuam could end fiscal 2022 with about $68 million more than the projected $707 million budget that they presented for fiscal year 2022. Budget Senator Josen Augustine in the Post said that salary increases would have to be budgeted for next year, and that could be worth between $30 and $40 million. But the senator says the half-year revenue report shows the economy is moving forward and people are going out again and circulating their money in the economy. St. Augustine says that they will maintain a conservative stance, though, with uncertainty over what will happen next year. Now, these numbers are based on the BBMR latest consolidated revenue and expenditure report that was sent to the legislature. The numbers are still subject to internal audit and analysis and could therefore be subject to change. And good news for Guam tourism as more airlines look to return to the island. The Post reporting budget airline Air Busan plans to fly 5 new international routes, including their Incheon Guam route. Air Busan is one of 5 airlines that applied for the government-funded subsidy through GBB, which will give the business partners a chance for a $100 per seat financial incentive for bringing flights to Guam. Air Seoul is another low-cost carrier that said that they would increase their flights to Guam, as did United, which said that it would increase its flight from Japan. We'll have more news right after this.
Go green, go hybrid. Go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
A hotel, a mall, and a site for a former racetrack are some of the considerations being taken up by the Guam Election Commission as they look for a venue for the upcoming early elections. The Western Resort's one of them, Micronesia Mall, as well as the Guam Greyhound Park in Tumuning. The Election Commission's invitation for bid closed on Monday. The executive director, Maria Pangilinan, says that they will do its due diligence to review and assess the bids submitted. Meanwhile, the second man accused in the shooting of baby Joe Timinglo last year in Dededo is being presented a plea deal from the government. Jensen Belga de Vels, who's 28, appeared in court yesterday. Defense attorney Sam Tecker told the court that they received a plea from the prosecution, adding the terms of the agreement are a bit harsh. Details of the plea agreement have not yet been made public. And the number of break-ins and thefts taking place at the Chamorro Village have vendors voicing their frustration and concern with the lack of management from the Chamorro Village. The story was on KUAM. Speaking with the Micronesian Jewelers as well as the Guam Gallery of Art, both expressed their concern after numerous break-ins that took place over the pandemic and most recently over the weekend. The business owners crying out for Chamorro Village to do something to upgrade the windows, doors, and provide additional security at night. Now, there is some good news from the story that Chamorro Village will be resuming their Wednesday night market, possibly by May 4th. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with you.
Oh my God! Can you imagine how incredible that will be? We'd be able to have the food truck Thursday, and then the night before is night market Wednesday, over in Agana. Notice traffic's going to be bad. Traffic.
Oh,
will
and
be
there's
bad.
no more crosswalk there, so
They, for whatever reason, retired the
it's
crosswalk
gone.
down there.
And
once
people
upon
are
a
still
time.
using the crosswalk, just no light.
And no parking at that area in front of the monuments now. Remember, that's all fire zone.
It's fire zone
because I don't know, because the whole everywhere else is not a fire zone.
Yeah.
Because those monuments might catch fire. I don't know what the hell they're thinking around there. 8:11 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show, and so I'm anticipating that they are making those moves expecting that the governor in the next couple of days is going to undo the mask mandate, period. Indoors, outdoors. There's a picture. I thought I had it on me. I think that Sandra had commented on the Facebook. I thought I had the thing. I thought I'd captured it. But anyway, it's a picture of the governor serving up a volleyball somewhere on the governor's webpage.
Yeah, no masks.
They're inside. Yes, no masks. Inside. No masks inside. We just want to point that out.
Straight to jail.
But you know what the answer is going to be? Well, she's serving a volleyball.
But you know,
That's
I've actually
exercise,
been
like
to a
doing
couple
the cha-cha slide.
I've been to a couple of places, and I caught
Mm.
certain people. I saw it. I saw them.
You saw it?
I saw them. But anyway, they're not wearing a mask, and they're walking around, and nobody's saying anything. I mean, they get a glance, but nobody says anything. So I'm
presuming that it's all right. Now they've lifted the
care.
restrictions
I'm
on
not saying
social distancing. So when are the little dots going to be coming up off the floor of the stores?
They should be already, because that's already been lifted.
It has been lifted now for
For a
several
month,
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we got.
And then when you see the lines, they're still separated. I guess it's just habit that people have formed.
Some guy scraping those off the ground in the picture.
How
aren't
much
they,
fun!
Ray?
That's how you know you're the low man on the totem pole in whatever company you work for. When the boss hands you a scraper and says, "All of those
you know
little
what?
6-foot markers, let's get rid of those."
Heroes.
I imagine that Payless, because they're going to be closing certain days
Mhm.
for their inventory next week. They put out a notice.
Oh, they have an inventory
Yeah,
over
so they're
there?
going to be doing inventory. So certain stores will be closed from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. for
Okay.
them to do their. They'll probably be picking up those stickers
So
at the same time.
Sarita, when she went to Payless yesterday, she actually posted this in the group. They threw in a whole bunch of masks in the bag.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of them.
Yeah, apparently so. Here's
Last
some free
week-
masks.
Last week I got hand sanitizer.
No way.
Yeah, I
I
did,
need to
and it
go a
was a
little bit
good
more
one.
often. I need to go a little bit. I just went in for beer yesterday. It's 8:13 in the morning. I'll get around to
But thank
to
you.
the weather.
Thank you for that.
Now on screen, you might be wondering why I put this on screen. Here's another one of the relics of COVID-19 that needs to go. You will note that all of the people that are at the legislature, at least on the dais on the head side, are behind a plexiglass wall. You know, remember like the strippers at USA for a while? And the answer is we can get rid of those now, guys. Over at the legislature, it's over. Can we not do the kabuki? And one of the things...
You could actually use them for dry erase boards.
paint one side white.
No, you just use markers.
Well, I know what you're saying, but if you paint one side white, then you'd be able to see what you're writing. We have conversations like this at the house all the time. It's 8:14 in the morning. Now, one of the things, I'm eventually going to play the video that's attached to this screen.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
one of
a
the-
long one, so I mean you have to bear with it for a little bit.
It's okay.
But to get
people
to the
were bearing-
juicy part,
Yeah, they were bearing with Akimoto because I think everybody had the sense that something was going to happen, and then bam, all of a sudden here comes
Yeah.
Therese from behavioral wellness.
Therese got you.
I don't know.
Well, you know, he's talking about Passatempo, and I mean, let's remind people what Passatempo is accused of.
Mhm.
And
Go ahead.
There's a reason why he's not there, and yeah, maybe he's embarrassed because of the coverage of what things that he's alleged of doing.
But then the other part of this is all right. Well, you're still the boss of that shop. There's an obligation. If you see a hole, then you've got to fill it. Do whatever it takes. And Akimoto says they've got all the money that they need to be able to buy up all of the talent that they need. So it sounds like an argument that is going to go on now. But getting back to the video here, one of the things that you will see later on, if there's a guy at the legislature, his sole job appears to be straightening the chairs. So when somebody stands up from the chair and it's a little bit akimbo in the room, there's a guy that he'll walk over like this is my job. I'm getting
They
up and
call
walking
him
over.
the fixer, Ray.
And he will
The
walk
fixer.
over.
He's a page.
And he'll straighten out the chair.
He's a page. He's
The
he's
word
one
is
of
butler.
He's the staff of one of the senators. They kind of take turns. They rotate.
Page.
And so he would. It's
like
not
that.
just to fix the chairs. He helps to get
Get
papers
them
and
water.
and get them water.
Get him water. Butler.
You're dumb.
We have a name for that. You know, there's movie theaters.
But they do have a real important purpose.
Yeah, straightening out the
Aside
chairs.
from straightening
straightening out. Oh my God, there's a
But-
chair.
but you
it's
know,
not, it's not perfectly
it is-
perpendicular to the desk. Oh my God.
It is funny because if you're just getting up for 3 seconds and you come back and you expect to sit back down, your chair is already pushed.
Exactly. Because that's the kind of thing that'll kill off democracy is chairs that aren't straightened out. So we'll get around to that. I'm sorry. this is one of those times in the program that, frankly, I'm a little bit overwhelmed in information that we were exposed to in the last hour of the program, and somebody writing me is saying, did he actually say spread your legs? He did. And yes, he did. People all over Guam are going to be going back to this portion of the video.
Cuss.
No,
He
I was.
didn't cuss, and
Yeah,
you
well
expected-
played, Akimoto. Well played.
Yeah, we were all just a bated breath, waiting for him to just let one fly. 8:17 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show, and we'll take a look at the last look at weather. We're going to have mostly sunny skies today, partly cloudy skies tonight. Cooler, about 74 degrees, 87 degrees during the day. It will feel like 90, 30% chance of rain. Maybe that's already happened for you. In the forecast for tomorrow, largely the same, mostly sunny skies in the daytime, followed by mostly cloudy skies at night. Cooler, about 75 degrees, warmer 75 degrees. Sunset tonight, and probably tomorrow night is going to be at 6:35. You found the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point.
The Federal Reserve is starting to increase interest rates to fight inflation, but they're still so low, making it the perfect time to refinance your home, to lower your rate, and perhaps take advantage of its increased value to put some cash in your pocket during these uncertain times. Cash that you can have the freedom to access when you want, where you want, with your Bank Pacific Visa debit card. Lower your rate, put cash in your pocket. Access your cash when you want, where you want, with your Visa debit card. Where others put branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply.
My family and I trust the FHP Health Center because of our connection with the healthcare providers. The services are mostly under one roof, enabling a one-stop for all of my family's medical, urgent care, imaging, dental, vision, laboratory, and pharmacy needs. My family and I trust FHP Health Center. You can too. FHP accepts most insurance plans, TRICARE, Medicare, Medicaid, and self-pay patients. For an appointment, call 671-646-5825, press 1, or takecareasia.com. FHP Health Center, our island, your clinic.
How about portions of the program here being brought to you by American President Lines, a global presence with a local home, plus Chili's with a $15 meal deal going on right now. Mix and match 3-course meals with soup, salad, chips, and salsa. That's your starter, and then you figure out what entree you want. Ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon, ranch quesadillas. That is the preferred pronunciation, I believe. And personal fajitas. Yeah, just triggering Ismail. For the main course at Chili's, more life and great value happens here. Go.
Fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-825-5.
Well, how about that? I got Vince Akimoto on the line going after behavioral wellness, and then all of a sudden somebody told Chetch, you need to call the point. You got to call in. I don't even know what I'm calling in for. What is it? I just call in right now. It's amazing, isn't it? But a fun conversation nonetheless, as much fun as you can have talking about behavioral wellness and things like that we've got in the community. There's just so much out there. Almost every magistrate report has something in there about drug abuse, sometimes that leads to kind of mental health issues, not just for the druggies themselves, but for the people that they live with 20 after 8 o'clock in the morning, and other that we need to talk about here. That includes the conversation that I was most bothered about yesterday, and that is the fact that the guys over at the Department of Public Health and Social Services are absolutely aglow with the idea that they now will be able to have monetary fines that they can go after people. All of these fines, the fines that they went after Jones Bakery in Gigo at. Now that was a week ago, right? So it's possible 10 days ago. So it's possible the ability to fine them did not exist, but moving forward, other businesses for exactly the same kind of problems that are cited by these guys over at DEH could be settled with monetary fines. And they're absolutely excited about it. So Mon and I are going, wait a second, where did this come from? And she said, well, it was part of a AAA process, and normally you have to have a public hearing for something like that, and let's try to find out when it was. Well, Janella sent me a note yesterday with all of the complaints and the reports on DEH's inspections for COVID-19. Yeah, they're still doing one or two of those. Actually, that's not really true. When they went to Jones and the what is it, the marina and the subway or whatever, they also did COVID inspections there as well. So it's like the same guy. What the heck? We'll do COVID inspections and we'll check your toilets and make sure that the sinks are working and all of that stuff. So it killed two birds with one stone. Sorry, I digress. But I sent to her a thing. I said, could you do me a favor and dig out the information on the public hearing for these monetary fines? And sure enough, she sent it to me, and I got it up on the screen. I can put it up there for you, so that you may view it as well. There it is, from the Government of Guam, Notice of Public Hearing. Pursuant to 9301 Division 1, Chapter 9, Title 5 GCA, all agencies of the Government of Guam are required to publish a Notice of Public Hearing on the adoption, promulgation, repeal, rescission, or amendment of rules. The Department of Public Health and Social Services will be accepting public comments on the promulgation of revised rules and regulations governing the issuance of the sanitary permit. And this goes back to December 3rd, and you're going, well, I don't remember reading about that in December 3rd.
But even if you
It was December 3rd of 2019.
It was pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
But even if you saw that, there's no indication that there's going to be any sort of modification to the fees and fines.
Correct. Or
So-
that there was going to be implementations of fees and fines.
Right, exactly.
And so this ran once on a Friday, and it ran again on the Monday.
It did run twice,
Mhm.
according to the information you sent me yesterday. So it was in compliance with the law, but there's no indication. So how is the public going to know that they're going to implement fees and fines? They're going to think, oh, it's just some...
It's something else.
Yeah.
It's just another piece of government regulation here that we're writing about. Thursday, December 3rd, 2019, at the Guam Environmental Public Health Laboratory up in Daytadu. Copies of the proposed rules and regulations are available on the website. Signed Linda and Pinko DeNorsi. That's how old this thing is. So pre-COVID. And in my mind, I'm going, pre-COVID, maybe it would have been something, right? Maybe that would have been in line with all the blossoming restaurants that we've got, all the different trades that are being explored, and food trucks and the like that are going out there. Maybe there does need to be a call for a little bit more compliance when it comes to the regulations on environmental health in these places. Well, okay, fast forward to April of 2022, where we are here today, where these businesses that are being not I want to say targeted, but are part of this environmental health investigation, they're hurting, and a monetary fine or the threat of a monetary fine might be too much for them to have out in the future. You never know what it's going to be. You don't know when these guys are coming. You don't know whether there's going to be a complaint that is filed by a disgruntled employee, maybe a complaint filed by a disgruntled customer, one way or the other. You get these guys. There are people out there, I know, where they will complain that there's a hair in their food because they put it there, because they got an axe to grind with somebody, and compliance that's hard to deal with, and a good example of that is grab and go food, where you've got a door that's opening and closing constantly. Difficult in many cases to maintain the adequate temperature that you need in those kinds of facilities without basically freezing the food and making it so it's got to get thawed out by the customer when they buy it. So in my mind, I'm thinking there ought to be another thought on this before they start crowing about it, and before they all start getting excited about the capacity that they now have to be able to put these monetary fines out to businesses. 8:25 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. All right, we'll go back to Bunker couldn't hold. Oh, yeah, Dave.
No.
Another question to ask is, what is the recourse of these businesses? Let's say they are fined, or let's say they are given some sort of notice. Can they appeal? And if they can, who do they appeal to?
Well, we'll have to.
Because if you're slapped with a fine, you would be able to go and take it to maybe the Attorney General's office. I don't know. Who would you?
I couldn't tell you. I think the deal is just suck it. Either just pay the fine, or that's going to be all there is to it. 8:25 in the morning. Before too much long, we get some folks coming in, Crime Stoppers, as it were, before the top of the hour, and a little bit later on, we'll hear from the guys over at Mescla. But while I finally got the opportunity here to get this, there are two videos that we're going to play for you. One kind of sets up the other, and we'll try to go quickly. Unfortunately, we can't play this at double speed. So this is what it looked like yesterday over at the legislature, and what it sounded like at the place as well. Go, baby, go.
All right, we're still on motions. Order, please. Senators, we are still on motion. Senator Shelton, you're recognized.
A day. That's is it still going? Yeah. Well, they cut the microphone
You
off.
expect everybody else, Senator Nelson, to follow it. Where's our Sergeant of Arms? And I want audio not to turn on any mics unless they are recognized, please. So please, Senator Nelson, Senator Taitagui, please take it outside if you need to. Let's proceed with the business of the legislature. Senator Shelton, Legislative Secretary, you are recognized.
Was there any more after that, or was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
That's the take it outside video. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I played them out of order. I thought maybe this was going to be.
Madam Speaker. Thank you, Senator. We are on the motion.
Madam Speaker, the question
Do you have a point of order or a point of
well, the
Pardon?
question wasn't answered. I asked when it was posted on the website. Even though it was sent to MIS, Madam Speaker, there's a difference. They could have held it for a couple days, one day. My question is, when did the public have an opportunity to go on the website to review this? That's my question.
I believe the Vice Speaker
April
yielded.
21st, Madam Speaker, at 2:20 p.m.
Okay, it was
Point of order, Madam Speaker. She had stated that very clearly. Please state your point of order, Majority Leader Nelson.
There is no requirement in open government or our standing rules for substituted bills or amendments to be uploaded on a website prior to discussion.
Madam Speaker, that's not a point of order, but if we want to follow the same rule.
That is a point of order, Madam Speaker, because it's in reference to our standing
Your
rules.
point of order is noted.
Point
Thank
of
you.
order then, Madam Speaker. If we're going to require all the agencies on the government of Guam to require that 5-day notice, then this body should do the same.
That argument is out of order at this moment. We are proceeding with the vote on the motion to place Bill number 286-36LS onto the session agenda. Is there any objection? There's an objection. All in favor, please raise your hand.
They'll do a hand count here and decide whether it moves forward.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Majority Leader Nelson, you're recognized.
So Telena gets up now and is going through some of the paper. This is where she gets to the fairy godmother thing. Okay, should be here. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Getting everything in order and in place.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to make a motion to add to session agenda Bill number 287-36LS to enact to add a new subsection 4124 Bravo 2 to Chapter 4 of Title 17 Guam Code annotated relative to creating an exception from the service learning graduation requirement for all high school students during school year 2021 to 2022.
On the motion to place Bill number 287-36LS on the session agenda, is there any objection?
Point of inquiry, Madam Speaker. When was this posted on the website?
There's a point of inquiry.
Point of inquiry.
Is there anyone who'd like to yield to that point of inquiry? Vice Speaker, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. For the record, it was posted up on April 21st, 2022 at 2:22 p.m.
On the motion,
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, a point of information, that does not meet the 5-day timeline on the website for the public to see. Thank you.
On the motion, is there...
Point of information, Madam Speaker, there is no requirement to have a bill up for 5 days before heard on session floor. We put out a session agenda 5 days public notice for potential bills. Now, if we're going to go on the whim of every great idea fairy that wants to stop movement in this legislative body, then that's not the proper way to do things.
Madam Speaker, you're allowing the individuals to debate this, and I would have
will continue. And so for me, the high point of it was that line there. If we're going to stop everything for the great idea fairy, then that's not the right way to do this. And that's the way things are working over at the legislature. And this is the crazy. I'm trying to figure out what the resistance to this measure is. Why all of a sudden? It's not the first time that there have been items that might be on the agenda that have been included on the agenda. I'm not crazy crazy about that, but there was also the idea that the legislature itself is not held to the same requirements for notice and open government as other departments and agencies are. As I think Joanne Brown made that
I think the resistance is more to the point that the Republicans may have had bills that they've wanted to be placed on the agenda, but were given pushback for probably the same reason that the majority of the legislature is giving.
It's kind of shallow, if you ask me.
It may be that. I don't know exactly what.
So this is one of those tit for tat arguments that they're making there. Is that you guys can do whatever you want to because you're the majority, but isn't that the way it works?
Well, when the rules apply only to you, and then it adjusts when the minority is trying to push an agenda. That's when it becomes problematic because the rules are there for a reason for everybody and not just to suit your whim or to suit your intent.
If you were a parent of a student in the government of Guam and you haven't gotten the required number of days that Bob Klitsky spelled out in the Adequate Education Act, then sue the Department of Education and the government of Guam and get finally an answer to this question because it's apparent that they just want to screw around with it over at the legislature. And if you've got students that are holding out trying to figure out what they're going to be doing for their service learning, then encourage all of the members of the legislature to take that apart and repeal that legislation. I find it personally useless. 8:32 in the morning. And one other thing, while we're digging on the legislature, you know what's going to suck is the Ed Board is going to have to carry the water on this boys playing in girls sports leagues. I think that question should be answered at the legislature. I think those are the representatives of the people, all of them elected by the people of Guam. It's a dicey subject, a prickly subject, if as it were, to discuss over at the legislature. But I think that's where the overall policy for the government of Guam should come from. And it should be debated, and it should be debated loudly where everybody can see it and everybody can participate. And that's over at the legislature and not the Ed Board. Just thought I'd throw that out there. See if there's any brave members of the
Hey, it's an election year, and it's a valid
legislature.
question that needs to be asked, And so when you've got people who are running for an office, this is one of those things that they're going to be be prepared to answer this question.
That's right. Don't punt it over to the Ed Board. That's not their job. It's your job to determine whether we want boys participating in girls' sports on Guam and vice versa. 8:34 in the morning. Monica Silva with the last big look at news and headlines. That's coming up next.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus to naktak, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tuman location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
Studio time, 8:35. Crimes, big problem on Guam. We've got Crime Stopper experts. I'm serious, experts, actual guys that are in charge of whole divisions of the Crime Stopper network are here on Guam. We'll be talking about them. And you got to remind me, one of these guys Hawaiian, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me not to talk Hawaiian.
Don't do it, man. No pigeon for the next hour or so.
Smack me one time in the face. I'll tell you, brother. 8:35 in the morning with the last big look at news and headlines. My fellow troublemaker, Mana Silva Tyron. How about Mana? What happened today?
With the Education Board, we'll have a working session where they hope to get the stakeholders' input before they move forward on the decision-making where transgender females playing in interscholastic sports is concerned. The issue was sparked after concern was raised over player safety in a recent game between Teedzin High School and Guam High. The issue, again, will be brought to a board member working session on May 4th. The special meeting with the Education Board is set to take place on May 6th. This morning at the legislature, senators will go back into session where they will continue their discussion on the Hagåtña restoration master plan. They were able to get a couple of bills, several bills actually, onto the agenda after a little bit of a debate. Two of those bills dealing with education requirements. DOE was hoping that the senators would get to these bills before the end of the school year in May. DOE is hoping that these bills would be passed. One of them gives a waiver for the 180-day requirement for students. The other would waive the requirement for service learning. Session begins this morning at 9 o'clock. Those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Man, it was fun yesterday, so you might be in for even more fun and games here this afternoon over at the legislature, 8:36. And I see BJ wants to talk about the election. I'm sorry, BJ, I just don't have time for it this very second. We got a fast-moving program from here, maybe in the next hour. But I did want to give you the latest statistics here from the Guam Daily Post. If Guam's primary election were held today, according to this, the winners, hands down, 54.5% would be Democrat Lou Leon Guerrero and Josh Tenorio. Although I will point out that their percentage of votes has gone down by a little bit, and no doubt that's because Teresa Arriola was on the phone with us in the last hour of the program and could not do as many clicks as she'd normally be able to get through in an hour. It's 8:37 on the Ray Gibson Show. More on the way.
Technology is the great connector. It puts songs in your pocket, connects long-lost friends, and has made the world easier, faster, and smarter. And now, First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app can help you do the same with your money. Whether you want real-time financial tracking with MoneyMap or tailored advice on your personal finances with daily insights, we're giving you the power to connect to your finances from anywhere, like never before. First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Knowledge is power. In just 60 seconds, the eVolt 360 provides you a unique experience and a detailed report of your body composition for you to take action to improve your health. The eVolt 360, turning information into inspiration to live a balanced lifestyle. eVolt 360 is exclusively at the Take Care Wellness Center. Go to Simply Book Me or call 671-646-6956 extension 7260 for more information and to schedule an appointment with a member of the Take Care Wellness team.
This Mother's Day, spoil your mom by giving her what she really wants. Come into GTA today and get mom a new smartphone on HPO with our Live Unlimited plan for only $55 a month. That's not only a savings of $360 a year, it's also unlimited talk, text, data, and in case that's not enough, while supplies last, get a free $200 Visa gift card with your purchase. If she didn't have a favorite before, she will now. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details or visit gta.net for more info. GTA, we start with mom.
8:38 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. Portions of the big deal here brought to you by my friends over at Nissan. They recognize the price of gas is going up, and they want to get you more miles per gallon. But hey, it's Nissan. They want to get you more smiles per gallon. Did you like what I did there? Yeah, I stole it from their marketing people. Now we've got all kinds of rides there. Over 30-plus miles per gallon. Why are you going to smile? Because you're going to be passing all the gas stations, unless you want like bread, milk, and eggs. Versa, 35 miles to the gallon. Sentra, 33. Altima, 32. We've got the Kicks at 33 miles per gallon. The Rogue, right? Big Rogue, 32 miles per gallon on this thing. But for maximum savings, you got to go in the direction of electricity, and they've got the Leaf here, 111 electric miles per gallon rated for that. Now, I'm sure you got all kinds of questions about where's the deal and what do I, what colors did they come in? What do I got to do to get ready for going and shopping? Go to NissanGuam.com on the World Wide Web. In 20 minutes, it'll be 9 o'clock in the morning. Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. And what have I got going on here in the radio station? Let me see if I got the right cameras that are up and the right people that are on them. Sure enough. And on camera over there is James McDonald. Buenas and half a day. Say hello to your brother Jerome is listening.
Halfa Primo.
Oh, Primo.
Make sure that you drink your Colombian coffee back there, right?
Absolutely. So you know the drill.
Yes, and don't forget the tuba.
We were, a funny conversation. I'm glad that you brought that up. Yesterday we were talking about there's one of these food processing plants went up in the States, and it's one where they process lots of liquids that are used in preparation for meals, including oil, cooking oil, and vinegar. Now there was a run a while ago on cooking oil. It was real bad, but on the vinegar, I said, wait a second. kids from Guam, we should know how to make vinegar out of tuba, right? There's a way to do that. But it occurred to me as I was thinking about it out loud that I don't know anybody alive here that knows how to make it. That's one of those kind of pre-war things from back in the day, unless there's some sacred McDonald wisdom out there on being able to take it in its tuba form and then turn it into datuputin, tuba-flavored vinegar. You know how to do that?
Yes, I learned that from, my dad. So, some of my brothers
They got,
still do it.
Still in the process of making it. I just worry. You think about everything that's happening now: food processing plants, inflation, the cost of shipping everything between here and there. And it might be one of those things where we're going to start looking into the jungles to see if we'll be able to get some food out of there to sustain our families. All right, so set up the conversation. Yesterday, I'm at the house trying to grab a nap, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and I'm going over to. So who's calling me now? Nap time, and it says Felix, and I only know a couple of Felixes. One of them is used to be the governor of Guam, and sure enough, I pick up the phone, and it is he does one of these. Hello, this is Felix Camacho. Hey, Gov, what's up? Because he calls me for advice all the time. But anyway, I said, what's up, Gov? And he said, I'm going to put you on the phone with Jim, and he's got a guy here from Crime Stoppers. And I said, okay, well, it is. He says, I think it'd be a good idea to get you on the radio. So I'm glad that you're both here. Introduce our guest here with the deeper than me voice.
Hasta, Ray. I want to introduce my good friend, and he's a native Hawaiian, from the islands, just like no different than us.
Okay, I'm going to be very careful about my broken pigeon.
But he lives in Alaska, and this guy is, the director for USA Crime Stoppers for Region 14, which oversees the state of Alaska, Oregon, Washington State, and Idaho.
Why don't they follow districts like the court systems do? So we'd be in District 9, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so
District 9,
but they
Region
carve it up to
9.
14. Maybe we'll explain the geography on that. What's this guy's name?
My name is Ed Beto, and I'm currently living in Alaska. And I was here 30 years ago.
That's right.
Navy veteran, and I became an engineer for the government inspecting naval ships. So I would go back and forth quite a bit. So it's been 30 years, and I'm surprised the development. I'm also surprised of how the community and what's happening to the community. So I am the voice in Alaska. We have the same current issues as you guys. Same thing in Hawaii. And so I came up with an idea that I would like to create an alliance between Alaska, Hawaii, and Guam. And at a community-based level, because everybody I've talked to around here, Jim has introduced me to quite a few people. State legislative senators, the House Speaker. I mean, I met a lot of people. And yesterday, when I'm sitting down talking with Alex, we shared a lot of things more on a faith base and the reason why he's decided to run again.
Felix.
Oh,
Yep,
Felix.
Felix, I mean.
I've noticed that about him. Not spent too much time on it, but I noticed in recent conversations that I've had with him personally and on the air, there's a guy. I mean, I know where his faith was when he was the governor of Guam, but it seems like it has blossomed to a much higher level now, and I think drives a little bit more of his passion for the island and what he'd like to do as governor. But we're getting into the conversation about crime. And, you drawing parallels between what you see in Alaska, what you see in Hawaii, and what you see on Guam. Are you able to say that it's any worse in any particular place, or are we all just in the same in the same batch of
it goes beyond that. It goes beyond. It's nationwide.
Yeah.
It is an epidemic. And the thing is, so, as a nonprofit, we basically do this on a volunteer basis. And so Jim and I, we have that same compassion to trying to make a difference. So with Felix, it was the same thing. And we shared as Christian brothers the faith and the reason why he's been called to do this. Well, I'm in the same boat.
Okay.
So when I met Jim back in Nebraska, we had a conference there, a USA conference. And we met and we were both elevated. We both got over 22 years doing Crime Stoppers, being nonprofit.
Well, you didn't say anything. I remember a press release going out that said, so you've got one of these districts now under your belt.
Yes, we were both nominated. I was nominated to be the regional director for Region 12, which the 4 states Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, and of course, I'm the board chairman for the Guam Crime Stoppers.
But how are you going to be able to be the director of all of those states that are in the middle of the country?
The only thing I got going is my boot.
There you go. The boot is not for traveling. The boot is for putting up people's butts when they don't follow your instructions. That's the way that works. 8:46 in the morning. Beginning. All right. So we lay out the reasons why, and for all of them, if we're going to do this for Jesus, okay, let's do it for Jesus. Let's do it for all of the children that are out there that are living in broken homes as a result of mental health issues, substance abuse issues that are brought on by the crooks. I mean, some easy money apparently in the crystal methamphetamine business. When we start talking about crime, we'll begin with that, and you know, there's all kinds of other licit and illicit drugs that might fall into that category. But I think for the conversational purposes, this country has got a problem with crystal methamphetamine. It's fairly easy to make, fairly easy to transport. You've seen the numbers that we've got here on Guam. We might be pushing some of the cheapest crystal meth in the United States of America. We get guys at customs routinely catching this stuff in the mail and in shipments, and it doesn't make a dent in the cost of the goods that are sold because there's so many transportation channels that seem to be open simultaneously around here. So we've got obviously to work on that. You also talked a little bit about community policing. Efforts. Define, if you will, for me, how do we wrap the community up a little bit more into this? Crime Stopper's always been great. Here's the crime, here's the reward. If you know anything, if you know something, say something.
But true. But what we're finding out that more people, it's not the reward. It's a program that's anonymous. So we want people to come forth. But for me, it starts at the family core. It starts from the beginning. And when you teach the kid at the beginning, whether it's right or wrong or consequences for action, that's where you have to educate. You have to get into the school system. You have to start in earlier to crime prevention. But what I've done is I've speak in so many different engagements, and so many people do not know what we do for it. So this alliance that I want to do is basically we're all the same. We're indigenous people.
Yeah.
We all have the same family values. And so how do we reach that? Well, get involved. So I make people accountable. I go, what are you doing to support your community? Because a lot of community people, blame law enforcement. But law enforcement always comes in after the fact.
Well, law enforcement, I will tell you without hesitation, I think we've got some great cops out there. Like anywhere else, we might have a couple of guys that need a kick in the ass, but for the most part, we've got great cops. Our magistrate reports are filled with cops out there that are identifying issues and chasing down leads and getting righteous arrests. I think one of our bigger problems is there's no connection between the arrest and then a little bit more justice. We've got an issue, I think, with the criminal justice system, a hesitation to, I'm sorry, not a hesitation. It seems to be more of an embracing of plea agreements at the Attorney General's office and in prosecution in terms of getting rid of as much desk inventory as possible. We've got to move through these cases. The guys want to get through fast, so we'll plea out and find something to get the guy guilty on, and then it'll go to the judge, and we'll come up with some kind of a plea agreement where there's zero jail time, and the guys are playing the system around here, and I'm sure you see the same thing in Hawaii. I'm sure you see the same thing in Alaska. I'm sure you see it in Montana.
Yeah.
So they've worked with some House bill in the state Senate to combat that problem.
Yeah.
Because it's a revolving door.
It is, and the cops around here are getting tired of arresting the same guys.
So I initiate by telling people that basically don't blame law enforcement because they are part of the community. They're family members, they have kids, and they put their life on the line constantly. And so when you're working in a negative environment,
Seattle, Oregon. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Whoa. They defund the police states?
Yes. Yeah.
They defunded the states, and then the crime went all the way up. You look at California, where what is it now? It's a misdemeanor if you steal less than $1,000 worth of merchandise, $998. So basically everything, you walk in, you take whatever you want, you walk out, and the instructions are don't call the police. They ain't coming for that. Somebody's got to get shot.
That's crazy, man.
Crazy conversation.
Well.
So we talk about defund the police, and I'm here to tell you, I don't believe we've ever really funded the police here on Guam, but we'll save that conversation.
And customs.
For another time. We got a lot of guys with heavy responsibilities for which I don't know that they have been given, even despite the promises made by every administration since the beginning of politics on Guam. I don't believe they've ever gotten all the tools that they need to get the job done. That's just me.
Well, no, it's true, and it's happening in every state. So I think getting back, I don't want to mix politics, what we're doing for the community.
Well, wrong show then.
Yeah, but because I'm not a politician, I'm a person of faith. I'm a person who cares, and so when I met Jim, I had told him that it's kind of like my calling. It's like the Holy Spirit is moving through me, using me as an instrument to make a difference, and that's what I'm here for. I'm really here to help the community in a way. I mean, we have bigger problems, and our problem is between Hawaii and Alaska is the human trafficking and sex trafficking. It's really big.
And we have that here too. You remember that couple that was arrested
in Hawaii? Yeah. They brought a couple. They brought what is it, mother and daughter, and turned them into slave labor for themselves. Yeah, I recall that story, and it was kind of interesting. I don't think the last names were consistent with community attention around here. So I think as soon as they found out they were Micronesian, people stopped paying attention to that story. But it is a great example of what can happen between the Federated States, FAS, and Guam, and then the other places where they're welcome into the American family. You also brought up family, and before we get into this alliance that you want to build, I did want to touch on that. Obviously, your definition of family, mine, James's definition of family, that seems to have changed and meandered off to where I was, for all intents and purposes, had grandma, grandpa, mom, dad. Even after they were divorced, even the stepmothers and the stepfathers were integrated into the family, and they all had a hand in raising me and Mana and Shelley and David. I don't know that still exists in the same way that it did in the 60s and the 1970s. How do we address, for this community policing, this community crime watch and Crime Stoppers, how do we address the changes in what the definition of a family is?
Well, back when growing up with us, there was always drugs available, just at a different form.
Yeah.
But it's a choice that you make, and I chose my choice. My high was this heaven on earth that we live in, and that's done. So I think it is getting back to family core. When I met Jim and he was talking about villages, well, in Alaska we have many different villages, but different cultures, from Eskimo to Aleut to Alabaskan. There's 30 different types of village, and they have their problems.
Are there any other Hawaiians there? Just because I'm curious.
No. Well, there are Hawaiians there.
Is there a big community?
Well, because of military, the Samoans, like that, because we have both Army, Air Force there, and the federal government is definitely building up its force up in Fairbanks because of being close proximity to Russia
and protect the oil.
Yeah. So unfortunately, so what I want to do is, I understand my culture. We call it ohana, and it is family, and it starts there. And as we grew up, we always respected the elder. We never judged them because they raised us. So the teachings of doing right and wrong, it was real simple for me. If we got wrong, there was consequences for your action. It was that simple. And it's different now. You have to watch what you say. You have to watch where you go. And it's, so most people, I hear from the people in Guam, the problems, and everybody admits we have such a high drug problem. But so I say, well, what are you doing to support your community? That's when I get angry, is because people blame law enforcement. They're not doing their job. They're doing their job to the best of the capabilities of what they have.
Yes.
So everywhere under USA, everybody I've talked to, they're saying the same thing. Law enforcement says, we need the community. We need Crime Stoppers because it helps reinforce us.
There was a once upon a time. You look at Crime Stoppers, and one of the reasons why I think it worked out so well is because there's an immediate technical connection to something. You can call the Crime Stoppers. I've seen something. I know something. Whether there's a reward out, whether it is the crime of the week out, it doesn't make any difference. I just want to be able to help out my community. We've got a new technical connection that is made. I'm a part of the MTM Crime Watch and basically Neighborhood Watch program. It's on the WhatsApp. Are there blossoming technologies that Crime Stopper is investigating right now that will help create that alliance?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Ray, because we were up at the university, and that question was placed upon us.
Yeah.
They said, there's so many apps out there on the Neighborhood Watch, that we're using. What different is this P3 tips that USA Crime Stoppers is using on the 50 states and, that you guys are promoting? So I said, you want to know the real difference of this?
Yeah.
I said, the reason why people are being threatened, their neighbors or from their cousins.
Yeah.
I said, when you go on the app here, the Neighborhood app, when you report your neighbor, he sees your name.
Uh-huh.
Everybody sees your name. You put you report your primo. He sees your name.
So it's not anonymous. I never even thought of that.
Yes, but with ours, the P3 Tips app, guess what? It's anonymous.
Nobody can see who's making the
only one
report.
that can see it is us board members and the coordinator, GPD. And to me, that is the best thing. That's
okay.
will help.
I'm missing an interview with Paul Tapower, somebody from the police department, on this. So there is a P3 software out there. Is it like a download? Can I get it now?
Get it now.
Yes.
Go to the App Store.
Yeah.
The P3 Tips.
Yeah, I actually show people and show how easy it is to go there.
Crazy about the idea here. All right, so I'll take a look at it, and I unfortunately got another interview lined up in the next couple of minutes. But as I said, the technology is out there and it's available. Whatever technology people end up using, okay, I'll search for that right now while we're talking. But regardless of the technology that's out there, it does create a cohesive community of concerned citizens, concerned villagers, if you will, that are all kind of watching the same thing. What I'd like to be able to see from something like that is a higher level version, and maybe your P3 does this as well.
Yeah.
So that citizens can say, okay, this is what's happening in the MTM area, but what's happening in Barragata? What's happening in Manila? What am I seeing in Tamuning and in Agana and Sinanya? What's happening out there? Can we follow the crime as it moves around the island? There should be a way, and that's one of the other problems I think that we have in this community on Guam is that we don't necessarily see all of the crime metrics in real time. I'm sure in Hawaii there's an app for that. In Alaska, there's an app for that.
So, when you spoke about Neighborhood Watch, I told Jim it's Crime Stoppers' responsibility to get into those neighborhoods. Whether it's the president of Neighborhood Watch, but we need to have a roundtable discussion.
Sure.
I always believed in that.
A little closer to the microphone. You've got a beautiful voice. I want people to hear it. but getting closer to the conversation.
Yeah, I'm just saying that by reaching out to the community, getting more people involved, I think people. Well, right now there's a frustration between the public and whether it's state legislative, the government, or whether it's law enforcement. So I think that grassroots is just coming back down. If there's a Neighborhood Watch, have a meeting like that. People can come congregate together, whether it's at a church, and let them hear their voice. It's not coming in law enforcement telling what we want. It's the people.
Yeah.
It truly is. When it gets down to the people like that, I think we can make a bigger difference, educating them about this software.
Well, I'm going to doubt it. Well, it's installing now. If it's a quick install, it says it already says to open it. Okay, so I'll play around with this in the next few minutes.
So part of that is educating them that this is available. So 85% of all tips coming in, most people do not want to have a tip. They just are concerned citizens and reporting, making a difference. And so it has worked. On the average, we used to have about 100 tips a year. Now it's like 500 tips a month because I'm out there promoting it, punching it, going through all the organizations and talking.
Well, the answer is always going to be yes. whether it's from you or from James or from Brother Felix, who wants to be the governor of Guam again. I'm going to play around with this software and see how it works out. Check the drop-down list, make sure that Guam is on that. And then, as you say, you keep an eye out for things. If you're on a neighborhood watch on the WhatsApp, keep doing that if that's what makes you comfortable. Or download the P3 app, and then you can lay some tips up there anonymously, and the guys from over at Crime Stoppers will review that.
And the beauty of this, our organization, Ray, we're getting the UOG students and GCC students involved. Guess what?
Yeah.
We're going to open up a call center.
Really?
Up there. Yeah.
Well, it should be connected. I think it should be connected with the new expensive, that's what the E stands
and
for.
these students,
E911, the expensive.
At GCC, UOG,
yep.
They're going to get paid by their work study, and they're going to get credit for their...
Sounds like the alliance is there. Sounds like the plan is there. Like I said, I wish I had more time. We're already late for Fox News, brother. I'll talk to you again soon. You want to do a shout to Jerome? I'm sure he's listening. Tambi. Just after 9 o'clock in the morning, Fox News Live is next.
What you're seeing is Democrats are now starting to be on board as well.
Missouri's Attorney General says his office obtained a temporary restraining order from a judge to keep Title 42 in place. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has confirmed the body of National Guard Specialist Bishop Evans has been recovered. He was on duty near the Rio Grande.
He was a field artilleryman who previously served in Kuwait and Iraq, where he was helping special forces. He disappeared Friday morning around 8:30 a.m. local time after he jumped into the water to rescue 2 illegal immigrants who later turned out to be drug smugglers.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Eagle Pass, Texas. Shares of Twitter rose 5% on word that Elon Musk's offer to buy the company has been accepted. America is listening to Fox News.
Day. I'm the owner of Guam's largest tourist attraction group. The pandemic's been very tough for all of us, and particularly for my team members. So I'm really appreciative and grateful for the PUA assistance to our team members, and more recently, the SVOG federal grant that allowed us to reopen these facilities and re-employ everyone at a critical time when PUA ended. From myself and my team, on behalf of all of us, thank you for the federal funds that allowed us to reopen.
The federal fund you provide saved many, many jobs. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We employ about 35 technicians for our shows. Thank you for the federal funds that kept us going.
Thank you for helping with the federal funds.
Thank you for the federal funds.
Thank you for helping to save our jobs.
Thank you for the federal funds.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Judge is starting over and picking jurors in the case of the Parkland, Florida school shooter.
Jury selection in the penalty phase proceedings for admitted Parkland, Florida gunman Nicholas Cruz is starting over after Judge Elizabeth Scher realized she failed to fully question potential jurors before holding or dismissing them from service.
There are rules that all jurors must follow. A basic rule is that jurors must decide the case only on the evidence presented in the courtroom.
Prosecutors are seeking a death penalty for Cruz, who pleaded guilty to murdering 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Despite a guilty plea, a jury needs to decide whether a death penalty applies. In Broward County, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
The parents of a 14-year-old boy who fell to his death at a Florida amusement park last month have sued its owner, the manufacturer of the ride, and the park's landlord. The parents of Tyree Smith say their 6'2", 300-pound son wasn't warned about the risks of going on the ride, and the restraint system wasn't proper. A blast of winter is taking a toll on Oregon's wine industry for one vineyard owner.
Wineries slammed.
Mother Nature will do what she does.
Kim Bellengar owns Bellengar Estates.
This is an unprecedented event in the Willamette Valley to have cold temperatures in April. We had snow in April.
The vines had just started sprouting green buds that would eventually bear fruit a week before Northwest Oregon's record snowstorm. Bellengar says the frost killed the buds, turning them brown and crunchy.
The challenge is that there's not much you can do.
80% of the buds on her vines are damaged, but she says the vines will survive, adding the frosty weather will impact the quantity of wine, not the quality. CJ Papa, Fox News.
At the box office this weekend, DreamWorks Animation's The Bad Guys bested the field, earning $24 million its debut weekend. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in second place with $15.2 million. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
This Mother's Day, spoil your mom by giving her what she really wants. Come into GTA today and get mom a new smartphone on HPO with our Live Unlimited plan for only $55 a month. That's not only a savings of $360 a year, it's also unlimited talk, text, data, and in case that's not enough, while supplies last, get a free $200 Visa gift card with your purchase. If she didn't have a favorite before, she will now. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details or visit gta.net for more info. GTA, we start with mom.
This is the sound of connecting with nature, connecting to each other, and the sound of connecting with your finances. With First Hawaiian Bank's new mobile app, you have the power to connect with your finances like never before. With real-time tracking on your financial goals and tailored updates on your accounts, First Hawaiian Bank is putting the power of connection at your fingertips. First Hawaiian Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Wow, nice smile. So perfect and all.
Thanks. I owe it all to Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team. They do wonders for a healthy, happy mouth.
Got teeth? Don't wait until they hurt. Schedule your routine checkup and cleaning with Dr. Yang and his Smile team. Suite 119 in the East West Business Center, Upper Tumon. Call 647-8702 or 3.
The best thing that happened to teeth since toothpaste.
Dr. Yang and his Smile team.
They make smiles happen.
6 after 9 o'clock in the morning, portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at APL. That's American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on ThePOINT.gu.
I hear you. 7 after 9 o'clock in the morning, and note from another physician friend of mine who heard the conversation between Dr. Akimoto earlier and Teresa Areola from Behavioral Wellness, and what an interesting turn of phrase that the doctor used. He said, "Damn, he could have ruined him just for that comment alone. Amazing that she let it slide. Perhaps she didn't hear it." And you're right. Perhaps she didn't. It sounded like everybody was just kind of. Had been squelching themselves just enough until they figured out when it was time to start talking again. It is possible that she might have missed that remark in favor of waiting for a word breath, just an opportunity to get something from her side in. That'll happen. Yeah. I don't listen. I don't listen for content as much as I listen for. All right, is it my turn to talk? Is it me now? Can I do that? Bang, 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 bang. Horrible turn of phrase, as they are saying on the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live, et cetera, et cetera. 888-825-5880-TALK is the telephone number around here. Lots and lots to talk about. I did want to go over some of the comments that came in the midst of that conversation. James Howard. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Art Dela Cruz was there for it. James says, it's feeding time. Chris Barnes was online. He says, do it, Akimoto. Marie Rojas has messaged me, you need to call. And then bang, got into it, and regardless of whether she knew what the heck was going to be going on. Lonnie Salas says, wow, this is awesome. Jose says, the card is great today. Not even done. Still got time in the program. Sandra Regis was listening in. And a whole bunch of people, if you get a chance, take a look at the program when it is available as a video on demand. And check out some of the commentary that they said. Sarita says, Ray Gibson, The Point, always entertaining like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah, there's a part of me that every once in a while wants to do appointment radio, and today on a very special Ray Gibson show on The Point. But frankly, between Joe and me and Mana, we don't ever get that much planning in there, do we? I'll give you a perfect example of that. This morning at 9, we were told, that there was a request to get on the radio from Mescla, and the answer for Mescla is always going to be yes. Come on in. And I said, no, it's going to be on the phone. I said, okay, we'll be prepared for a phone call. It'll be on the phone, but they're going to bring food. Okay, well, they're going to bring food, but it'll be on the phone. And then, I don't know, a half hour ago?
Yeah.
No, okay, no. It's in studio, and they're bringing food.
Surprise, surprise.
Today, a very special Ray Gibson show. So in the studio with me, I got it says Montesilva Tavern. It shouldn't say that. It's actually Chef Peter from over at Mescal. How you doing, Brett?
Good. Half a day. How are you doing, Ray?
You know what? I'm doing good, and I'll tell you. I'll give you a couple of reasons why I'm doing good. I was eating lunch with Carl Gutierrez and a whole bunch of influencers from Japan over at the ranch in Arunau, and as I'm parking the car, get out and got my beer, and I'm walking in, and it occurs I'm looking over on the side, and I can smell something that's really good, and I saw the guys from your kitchen, and I'm going, oh, we're eating good today. It's I didn't know that you guys were in the catering game over at Mescal.
We do catering from time to time, and for on request, and depending on where and what and how our staffing looks, then we take on some catering.
Well, I tell you, and then follow up on that, I'd gone to a fundraiser at the place of Ron and Kim's friends with your mom. And again, I'm walking in, and it looked like these guys knew where everything was. It's not the first catering gig that you've done there, right?
No,
they knew where the sinks were, how to get in the back way. They knew their way around the kitchen. In fact, we were using a lot of Ron's kitchen goodies to get some cooking done.
Yeah, we've done quite a few caterings there, and their kitchen is like our second kitchen.
Yeah, I know. Nice. You ever think about putting a ghost kitchen in there?
Well, I don't know. Kim likes us to play in her kitchen all the time. So
yeah, and they've got these pillars of the community, and as you might imagine, they have a great pillar of the community barbecue grill setup that they've got outside. They got a nice little patio out there, and pro-grade barbecue. And I opened up the thing when I was there that night, and there were these incredible mescla ribs on the inside.
Oh yeah, we like to do when we do stuff at Kim and Ron's. We like to do live stations, and they love that. Guests get to interact with the various stations where we're cooking different things, but definitely the barbecue is a highlight because you can go outside. It's a nice little patio overlooking Pago Bay.
It's great.
And you're eating some barbecue ribs out there.
So you kind of make it sound like, we're in the catering game, but it's not, mainline. There's other considerations that you get into for that. But I mean, as somebody's listening right now going, boy, I'd like to have me one of those fundraisers at my house, or maybe get big get together up at a ranch house like Arunau or someplace. How do you feel? I mean, you just call up and say, are you available?
Absolutely. Just get a hold of our manager, Andy Fernandez, and inquire about catering, and Andy will give you the information and all the stops, and we could.
My birthday's coming up, right?
Let us know.
But I don't want. I need a patron. I don't have anybody that will pay whatever it is that you're charging. So maybe just get some to go. The restaurant game has changed on Guam completely, and unfortunately, I worry about right up the street from where you are, Poke Fry. Great kind of homegrown chow that these guys were putting together, and from very, very humble beginnings, and you would think that going concern, but looks like they're closing by the end of the month, and I think that's distressing. I know you guys think in terms of competition from time to time, but fewer players in the game on Guam are fewer players in the game, right?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the pandemic has put a big dent into the restaurant scene. And talking about Poke Fry, it's actually my brother's place, and it's really, really sad. He has a great following.
That chicken thing going too for a while down the street.
Stingers too.
Stingers, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things that come and go, and some great ideas, but maybe bad timing. With Poke Fry, I think it's a little different, and hopefully something else will come sooner or later.
I would hope
for them. But it's always good to have the varieties of food out there, a choice for even someone like me who sees food every day and is just like sick of looking at certain things, We love that variety, right? And it's funny, people see me at Asian restaurants a lot. I'm at Japanese, Thai, and Chinese restaurants, Korean restaurants. They say, what are you doing here? You have a restaurant. You have multiple restaurants. I said, Whoa, you expect me to eat the same thing every day?
But it's show prep too. I mean, some of this is show prep. You walk into what I like to think I know a thing or two about cooking because I know how to light a barbecue. But you get into some place and you go, boy, there's a flavor, and I want to be able to put something like this, but not this, in something that I prepare. I mean, that's the point of Mezcla is Chamorro Fusion.
Yes, and with being able to taste different things out there. Even in some of my travels, I gather lots of ideas and sort of like my inspiration to create more fusion ideas. And the great thing here in Guam is we already have a huge melting pot of flavors and cultures here on this island. And then to be able to bring back a few extras and showcase it in that similar fashion, but then with familiar flavors, makes it easier to swallow, so to speak.
Whose idea was octopus tinactac?
Well, mine, of course, but octopus tinactac, when you, here in Guam, if you grow up in a fishing family, people that fish and particularly catch fresh octopus tinactac is one of those really old traditional fisherman dishes that you would only experience in a fishing family or eating at a home that has fishermen.
Predominantly fish,
Yeah, and it's like old school, and you don't see it very often anymore because, one, you got to get the best octopus, which is the fresh octopus, and then it takes about 2 hours.
There's right in front of the store. Though, isn't there? I mean, literally right in front of the store.
Agania is actually one of my great-grandfather's stomping grounds for octopus. And if you're an octopus hunter, I mean, you can catch so many different areas where there's an abundance of octopus. And these octopus hunters know exactly where they're at and what time of the year is the best time to get them. But octopus tinactac is like a very nostalgic childhood memory of mine in terms of food, and I store a lot of food memories since I was real young. And that octopus tinactac was just like the one you couldn't wait for. It
Gotta put it on,
2 hours to make and get it so tender.
My God, the high holy stink of the boiling octopus, and my grandmother used to be interesting to, because we were not a fisherman family, but Grandma Tanana would make a phone call to somebody, and then pretty soon some guy would show up with a bag of something, whether it was food or beetle nut or crabs. Oh my God, we used to get these massive crabs, and they were live, and she'd stick them in the freezer and let them slowly die over the course of a couple of days, so that they still had some fresco when it was time to eat them. If I was allowed to eat them, my grandfather had a thing, and you will recognize this kind of thinking. Daddy had a thing where we would prepare something, and there would be two sets of meals. There would be the one for him, crabs, i.e. And then I would get cheeseburgers or something. Like Grandma made me cheeseburgers or fried chicken, and he says, I said, can I have that? He says, no, because I will enjoy this way more than you will. You don't understand what you're eating here, so I'm not going to waste any time on this. You eat the fried chicken, boy. So Grandma would come up with this stuff, and then there would be the octopus, and she'd pick these things up from the top of her head and throw them down at the kitchen floor, and because you have to knock them out and tenderize them. Because that's a big part of making it so that it's palatable. I was talking to somebody the other day. I was looking over my my backyard and saying, didn't your neighbors used to grow pumpkins on their side? And I said, yeah. And I said, what do you suppose? You think maybe we might be able to go next door and harvest some pumpkin tips and see what's going on? Is that something that you incorporate in the cooking from time to time?
When we can get it, it's kind of like seasonal also, and it's scarce sometimes, and it is a lot of work, but it's worth it. We definitely use it when we get a chance, and one of the dishes that we typically would use it in on a regular basis is our Mosizas gyoza. And, we do put pumpkin tips in that when we can get it. But, it's always nice to have that for kaddu, or, oh, man, I love that with, like, crab. You mentioned crab. Crab kaddu or shrimp kaddu with coconut milk. And
these are not complex recipes.
No, very simple comfort dishes, And you know, it's funny how you mentioned that your papa would say, "Oh, you won't enjoy this."
Oh, yeah.
When I was growing up, any of the really good stuff, I would know it because they would say, "This is bad for you."
Don't eat this. This is.
And so everything I learned really quickly at an early age that if they said, "Boy, you can't eat this, it's bad for you," I knew it was really good.
And you just got to find a way to sneak some off
yeah.
the table. And to this day, you know, one of my favorite things is to sit down with a couple of big old crabs that have been cooking in a pot for hours and great sauces that go along with it. As I said earlier, you know, the ways of the restaurants are changing. We're seeing a whole lot of food trucks out there. I understand there's a couple of ghost kitchens that are running on Guam that are, you know, gaining in popularity.
Yeah.
And there's more people that are picking up their items to go.
Oh yeah.
Now that's. In my mind, that's kind of hit or miss because there are some foods that it's like watching movies. You know, you don't watch Star Wars on a small TV. You watch Star Wars on a big screen, and there are certain meals that you eat in the restaurant because it's good for the 20 minutes that it takes to get it on the hot plate in the kitchen and then out to in front of you. If you pick it up in again and you live in Jigo, forget it. You're not going to get the same experience as you would if you were sitting in front of it at the restaurant.
I wholeheartedly agree. You know, I had to learn how to appreciate takeout during the start of the pandemic, where that was the only option.
Yep.
And I could tell you. It sucks to eat takeout. Certain things are good, but most of them are not. And you got to eat it fresh.
Designed
and
to be eaten in the restaurant experience that you've got there, which is why I thought it was an interesting stretch. You know, getting into the actual purpose of this conversation. It's always nice to sit down and yak with you, but in this case, you know, you have taken the takeout idea a step further and made it so that the mezcla flavors, the mezcla experience is portable. How'd you do that?
Well, you know, interesting enough, years ago, we wanted to start a production kitchen and start producing some products that were available mainstream.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, here in Guam, it's kind of difficult to go through the whole processing, starting a actual meat or food processing plant. So funny enough, a gentleman by the name of Mike Limtiaco, I don't know if anybody knows him.
I know his wife.
But everybody knows Mike.
Love Tracy.
Former senator. You know, he approached me and we talked about doing these convenience items, you know, doing stuff that are easy, you know, things. Originally, I think we talked about like oxtail kadu and stuff like that, prepackaged, frozen, just
boil in a bag.
Throw it in a pot, and you have tender oxtail in like 15 minutes, you know. And then somehow it progressed on to like barbecue.
Tell me you went back to the oxtail though, because that's a get.
We did, but the thing is, with the various meat or processing plants out there, it's kind of difficult to work with something with bones in it. In terms of vacuum packing, right? And of course, you can't have boneless oxtail. It's got to be bone in, right?
Yeah, bone in, and that's sharp stuff. And when you put it through the vacuum, it's going to make a hole.
Backpack, it'll tear through the bag. And they have a pretty high tear rate when it comes to bones. So interesting enough, we ended up with bone in short ribs, and they did warn that, you know, when they do process, there is a percentage of breakage from the bone. So
I'll be there for that. I'll get those.
But anyway, and then so we got on to the barbecue, and then we ended up working out some recipes, and we did our mezcla signature marinade, which is somewhat of a sweet soy marinade. Can't tell you everything that's in it.
No.
But yeah, everybody here.
I'm not going to tell you what's in mine.
Everybody here has their secret barbecue marinade, and ours is pretty simple. But we serve it in a restaurant. We've won some awards with it. But basically what we wanted to do was put together a very thoughtless
this is
product.
the part where I'm going to eat, guys. So I'm going to set my table over here.
By the way, I brought you some rubber gloves so you can.
This reminds me of my first date.
You can eat barbecue the way you're supposed to.
Yeah, let me see if I can get this up on the screen. Oh my God! So we got the short ribs over here. I got chicken on the other side. Not that one. Is it this one? There it is. Let me see if I can get this up on.
Oh,
on
wow,
the screen
grill
so
marks,
everybody can
Ray.
see. It's got grill marks. It's just the way, like I cook, everybody. I cook just like over at Mescla is the thing. Okay, so there on that one, as you said, we've got the short ribs. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to find the chicken, and I'm afraid the lighting is not doing this justice. Now, did you say that these were the ones that were vacuum packed?
Those are the two items that we ended up working out. We have marinated chicken and marinated short ribs, and they're available currently at Payless supermarkets. They've been doing a pretty good drive on the advertising. We've been posting some stuff, and
I saw some of the gorilla stuff, but
getting
all right. So wait. Are you telling me that what I'm eating right now, and I'm sorry you can't see it because it's disgusting to watch me eat, but are you telling me that this was in a bag?
Yes.
And it might be in a bag in a frozen section over at Payless?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
you take it out and heat it up, and it's going to be just like this. It tastes like it just came out of the kitchen.
You got basically an effortless process. You buy it, you defrost it, and then you grill it, and then you have instant barbecue almost.
Okay, so I would do the cooking on this.
Yep, you would have to grill it yourself.
So it's not pre-cooked.
It's not pre-cooked.
Okay.
It's raw marinated chicken and short ribs, and then you basically just defrost it and grill it, or you could even put it in a broiler, salamander, toaster oven at home.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get a fire started, it does well in the oven as well, and on high heat.
God, I can smell
if
through the
you
glass.
set your oven at like 475 degrees, throw it on a pan, put it in there, flip it, let it get nice and caramelized for about 20 minutes, 10 minutes on each side, and you should have some nice looking barbecue meat. Oh my gosh. I forgot to bring. Yes, our Denancy's bottle. We currently sell that at the restaurant.
Okay. When is that going to Payless? When is that going to go to the Payless?
That's a good question for Mike Benito. We'll have to talk about that later.
But Mike, Mike and Mike are gangs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So why hasn't that been done yet? For heaven's sakes, what's going on?
Well,
oh my God, guys, this is good. So, okay, and to understand the process now, so you take it, you do your magic on it, right up to cooking it and making it hot.
Yes.
I pick it up over at the store. I take it and put it on my stove. I take it and put it on my barbecue grill, my own hibachi or whatever it is, and I'm going to cook it up on. And then the rest is up to me. But it's already got the mescla flavor. It's got your magic in it.
Exactly. So really, instead of you going to the store and buying short ribs and buying marinated marination ingredients, you just go and you just buy one thing, and then you take it home and cook it.
This, you know what? The reason why I'm excited about this, on top of the fact that it's a great idea, is because here's the problem that I'm seeing is a lot of people are going to the beach these days. I'm seeing a lot of guys at the beach.
Yes.
And they're bringing buckets and they're bringing things with pizza in them. And I'm going, you're missing the whole point of this, is to go to the beach with your family and barbecue. Like I said, you haul out that hibachi, you haul out whatever tunky it is that you're going to use. That's what goes underneath this. And we're going to be turning this, not hot dogs. We're going to be turning short ribs and chicken. And so the only other thing, what about pork ribs? We got pork ribs in
Not yet. We're actually talking about that right now. Again, with ribs, the bones and all of that is tends to be tricky, but it is in the talks right now, and we eventually want to get to that point.
It's almost the whole point of going to the restaurant right there in those two boxes. What's in the third box?
Red rice, of course. Can't forget the rice.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's on a keto.
No,
Ray's on the keto.
No, I'm not. We're saving. We're eating the whole thing here. 9:29. Put the headphones on. We were talking about the other mic, of the two mics. We got Mike Benito that needs to carry the Denancy from over at Mezcla in all of the Payless markets. And then I will forgive you for not having shiitake mushrooms the other night or rosemary. I was making steak and I wanted to, just put some of that
get the butter
and the
Splash it on.
rosemary, and I couldn't, so I ended up, just salt and MSG. Because MSG is good for everything, isn't it?
Don't forget the MSG. I actually did a piece on MSG, and I did some extensive research on it, and really in the findings they can't find through many clinical studies. Can't find
there's nothing wrong with MSG.
Allergic reactions.
It's myth.
It's a mental thing. If you think it will happen.
It's umami. It is that's the whole thing. It was invented by a Japanese guy that wanted to be able to put umami flavoring on pretty much whatever he was eating, and found a way to do that with monosodium glutamate. It was all kinds of natural occurring ingredients.
It's actually a crystalline form of sea salt.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Oh, my God, it's so good. I call it Japanese poison so that just nobody else will use it in the house. On the phone with me, like I said, the other Miguel on the line, Mike Limtiaco is here from, I don't know, where, Pacific Trucking.
Manita.
What?
Manita Farms.
Manita Farms. Okay. Well, I haven't gotten any. I haven't gotten any eggs from him yet, so I don't want to say anything about it. Dude, Miguel, are you there, Senator?
Yes, half a day, Ray, Joey, Mana, Chef Peter. How are you guys?
Half a day.
We're all good, bud. I'm going to be full by the time the interview is over. So, tell me a little bit about this collab that you guys got into, and how what steps were taken. What regulations did you have to review from the Department of Public Health and Social Services and the police department or whatever to bring this idea to life?
Well, it all started with the convenience factor, as Chef Peter had mentioned, and finding a way to have chamorro recipes for the convenience, where people could just go in on the spur of the moment if they wanted to throw it on the grill, pick something up, defrost it, and get a meal going quickly, rather than to go through all the work of marinating it properly and everything.
Okay.
And what better recipes to use than some of the best restaurants on the island, like Mezcla. And so this product is actually produced in a USDA facility on the U.S. mainland. Pacific Unlimited, we're in the food distribution business with the Navy, so we utilize some of our vendors to come up with a economical way of producing it. There are minimum quantities that we need to meet, so I had approached Chef Peter with Mezcla about the opportunity to do it, and one thing led to the other, and now we got the product in the best grocery store on the island, Payless. My daughter is a big fan of our Oka Payless. I think her name's up on a board up there somewhere. She wanted to have her birthday there at the Oka Payless. So
can we do that?
Primo Mike. But yeah, so we're working on. So these are the first two products to roll out, and Chef Peter made sure that we did the quality assurance required. We had several iterations of the recipe.
I'm blown away. I tell you what, I'm completely blown away. I mean, this has got the flavor like it has been sitting in marination at the restaurant. If you'd have said that he was this was just in the prepared for me special at the restaurant, I'd believe you. But to tell me that it was prepackaged like everything else that you'd be able to find in the line, prepackaged, frozen, thawed out, and then grilled, I would have said no way. That's it's just amazing the flavor. It doesn't have that frozen flavor. It doesn't have that frozen kind of texture either. So how did you manage that? I mean, what size did you do on that, bro?
Well, so these guys are professional at what they do, but the Chef Peter had to make sure that it was right. Chef, how many times did we go through the recipes? I think 3 times.
Yeah,
right?
I think we tweaked it about 3 times. And again, with doing these prepackaged items, it's not like doing it fresh in your kitchen at home or at the restaurant. It's kind of like airline foods,
you got to go through a process.
You have to go through that process and get it just right. and factoring in the vacuum packing, the freezing, the transport, and then defrosting. And to the time you eat it, you want to have that perfect flavor.
Are there copious instructions? Because I could screw this up.
Actually, there is.
Okay.
But I can't tell you that. It's top secret.
No, I mean on the packaging itself. I mean, here, this is the best way to prepare this. This is what we want you to do this to get the best experience.
We simplified it, Ray. It's defrost and cook.
Done. This is no. All right, and if
I can tell you, there's various ways to cook it. You can grill it, you can broil it, you can bake it, you can pan fry it. It works.
Don't ask my brother-in-law about eating either my ribs or my chicken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm that guy, and I don't know if Miguel on the line is the same, but I'm the guy that can do one of those barbecues where the chicken comes out just black as coal on the outside, but pink and bloody runny on the inside.
Yummy.
Do that the same. Yeah, right. Do that the same thing with the ribs, where you get the meat of the ribs and it's all charred up, but over at the top of the rib, over that rib knuckle, it's still raw and bloody in there.
That's the best part.
I know. I'm not.
Just gotta not have it so bloody. But I'm not scared.
You gotta
pink pork.
You gotta give it some love.
You know what? Neither am I. I know
give
how
it some love.
Blast it in the microwave for the last 30 seconds.
No, never, never, ever microwave pork or chicken.
So Mike let on that these are the first two in a series. Because people are beginning to ask online what's next, and I think there's a few people that are offering suggestions now.
Oh.
Yeah, so Chef and I are working on getting the proper cooking method. The one method that is, from a commercial standpoint, is the most easily accessible, are steam ovens. Mm-hmm. But Chef wants it in a kettle pot, right? Chef, you can explain the difference between the steam kettle to get the right consistency and the right flavor. So we're working on that. We have all of the normal chamorro recipes in the works, chicken kadu, oxtail kadu, karampika. We're trying to get all of these available so where you can go into a Payless or Kashiles and purchase it, heat and serve, add the vegetables, and you get what would normally take you 3 to 4 hours. You get that in 30 minutes or so.
So are you entertaining collaborations? John Ananich from Sideline says, Cardon Munuk Fresco with pumpkin tips and coconut milks. Yes, on that one. Now, he doesn't currently have that on his menu, but the guy is serving up a $15 ribeye. And now the reason to live on this one isn't the ribeye. They do a great job with the ribeye, good marination, and they cook it up just right. But it's the red rice that he's got with it. It's an old school recipe. I mean, are you willing to entertain collaborations and swap recipes with other guys to make a perfecto?
Of course, always. I currently use my grandmother's recipe, and nobody can beat grandma's recipe.
What's the line on bacon and peas in grandma's recipe?
That's old school. Interesting enough that we used to see bacon growing up when we were young, but what I'm not that old, Ray, but when I was growing up, the key ingredient, my grandmother used to make her own pork lard because we had a pig farm. We always had pigs, right? And she used to make her own pork lard, and that was a secret to her cooking. She would put that pork lard in that red rice, and then you would wonder what makes grandma's red rice taste so good.
There's the missing ingredient. Exactly. Big Sister Shelley asking about pork bellies. Speaking of having pork around all the time, is there a pork belly recipe that could be one of these in one of these frozen prep bags?
I had a hard time thinking about pork belly. I think Mike mentioned that one time, but for me, I'm an old school pork belly guy. I just put salt on my pork belly and grill it. That's the way I like it.
Chris Castine wondering out loud, is this product produced in a federally inspected establishment?
No, it's produced the outside kitchen. Of course. Of course
it is. It's the product has the USDA facility number on any of the packages you pick up at Payless.
Okay, so it's gone through a process there as well. We were talking about MSG Tattoo Shauna. That's Shauna Fujikawa Stickle says MSG Japanese food glitter. And you're absolutely right. It even makes that noise when it comes out of the bottle that I use. Incredible combination, and I'm glad that this team is on it. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. If it is as good as the chicken and as good as the short ribs that you've given me, I mean, those are oh my god experiences. I mean, they line up exactly with what my expectations are when I eat it at Mescla.
Awesome.
And then I'm sorry, we just got done with the Lenten menu out there, and so I guess it's a bone issue as well with the fish. Will you think we might be able to find some kind of escabeche fillet? Come on, man.
Well,
There are 3, maybe 4 outstanding places on Guam where you get good parrotfish. Yours is like number 1 or 2 on the list. It all depends on how I'm feeling. It's either you or Pirates Cove. Both of you've got a really, really good parrotfish, and
Nice.
I know Lent you had a escabeche parrotfish, and I did not have a chance to try that this year, but I know many people that did and raved.
Well, we can actually do it if you request it when you get there.
Oh, that's true.
So it's not a problem for us.
I like it. Go pay less. Ask him. My buddy Benedoso Tautau wants to know if you'll be willing to be his kid's Ninu. Wait a second. Maybe I should ask Benedoso. Is that for Chef Peter or is that for Mike? Either one is good, right?
I think it's Chef Peter.
Bam Duval, outside kitchen, wide open, no screens, just the way. That's how we invented. But a lot of people don't realize this. That's how the what do you call it? Fruit bat was invented. Fruit bat soup was an outside kitchen. It flew in and got stuck in the soup and died, and nobody wanted to. They were embarrassed to say anything about it, so we just kind of ate it that way. Ray uses microwave to reverse sear his food. Yeah, I'm watching that. This kind of stuff going on on the Food Channel. 9:41 in the morning. Hey, Miguel, I'm going to let you run. I'm having too much fun with this conversation, and frankly, there are other people in the building, and they can smell the chow. So we're gonna go ahead and do some distribution around here pretty soon. Hugging a kiss to Tracy. All right.
Will do.
All right, appreciate it. 9:41 in the morning. Interesting how great minds are getting together and finding new ways to take things that we like and present them out in a completely different way.
Absolutely, and there's lots of ideas, but then capabilities, and then Mike just kind of paved the way for this to happen. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate the opportunity to share some of our products with the community. And it's unfortunately it's not produced locally, but it is a local product.
It does. It's got your name on it, so this is local as it needs to be. 9:42 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. Just a couple more minutes with Chef Peters. We talk about the state of where we are here. I've been making a big noise because I'm annoyed that the Department of Public Health and Social Services, after the worst 2 years for the hospitality and the food business in this town to have experienced since the Second World War, are now all really excited about the idea of being able to go in and hit you guys with monetary fines. I consider that bayoneting the survivors, for heaven's sakes. It might have made a little bit of sense prior to the pandemic when they were originally talking about it, but now after the last 2 years, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, after everyone suffered, that's such a great time.
Suffered because public health and the governor's office shut everybody down. is what happened there, and so thankfully, I don't want to say you survived, because I used to do commercials for Mescla in Agana and the Mescla down in Tumon at the Grand Plaza, and unfortunately that's in mothballs right now. Right?
Yeah, we're currently shut down in Tumon, both our locations. Mescla Bistro and Mescla Dos by the old Rotary Sushi. And
have you eaten at Jimmy's?
Oh yeah, Jimmy. Izakaya is the bomb. By the way, you got to go down there because I was just there 3 days ago, And the food there is phenomenal. Jimmy is.
See, that's why I like talking to this, guys. We can talk about restaurant food, obviously, but we can talk about restaurants as well. Yeah, I had the opportunity a couple of weeks back, first time, and they had just opened the restaurants up to unvaccinated heathens like myself. So I was, which is another brilliant idea to help suffocate the retail food community here on Guam. But at any rate, so I had a great time down there. Food's absolutely terrific.
Oh yeah.
Where else are you going these days? What's if I was to ask you, the great, besides mezcla, obviously, but what's your secret kind of go to these days?
Man, yesterday I had Phobasi. I love the food at Phobasi. It's authentic Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
Thai Kitchen was one of my favorite.
It's Phobasi Marine Corps Drive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right
I know exactly what you mean. That's they're everybody makes it. There's a standard Vietnamese menu that you can find.
Yes.
You get the salad, and it's always got the Thousand Island dressing on the side. Very 1980s, and very sweet tea. But I always go for the fried pork chops or the fried ribs. With lemongrass.
That's one of my favorites. Fried spare ribs.
Yeah,
I love that.
There's and I don't know. There's a kind of magic that they do on that's I think kind of difficult to duplicate. But yeah, Phobasi's good. It's a good go-to place.
Have you ever had the fried spare ribs at Thai Kitchen?
No.
Thai Kitchen fried spare ribs. Oh my god! With their finadeni, the Thai finadeni. Oh, dude,
I'd have to check.
Delicious.
I was thinking about the different relationships that we have, and there's a kind of idea. Okay, Chamorro food is Chamorro food is Chamorro food, but it also pairs very well with Filipino food. Filipino food. Do you ever in your head ponder mashups?
Oh, all the time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Filipino food. I love all kinds of different foods, and it's interesting when you want to make something like just say like cutty cutty, right? It's one of my favorite. Right. I just made that recently. It's not gonna taste like your typical Filipino cutty cutty, but I kind of just put my own little spin in it, so it becomes like Filipino chamorro.
Well, we're gonna so exactly. So what's the one I'm thinking of with the crispy patas?
Oh,
crispy. Now, I mean that's kind of the basic recipe. There, we're gonna take the leg and we're gonna make it all crispy and tender on the inside. But for me, it's always been. And there's a place. I'll forget the name. My brother's yelling it at me right now. In Greenbelt. And you go into across from New World. You go into the door, and then out. You got what's the name of the bar over here? Never mind. The Cafe Havana's over here, and then you go into the food area, and there's a place. I want to say it's called what's the Filipino word for table? I think it's the same as ours.
La masa.
Yeah. And so they've got this great crispy pata recipe out there, but it's not so much just the crispy pata. It's all the different dipping sauces that come along with it. Yeah. I mean, you ever get to that where you're going, you know what? We don't need just one kind of totsi here.
Oh,
man, let's have a whole tray of different totsis.
I like to have variety. Yeah. I like to have variety, and usually they give you that Mang Tomas sauce, right? One of my favorite places in Manila is Manila is the Shangri-La Hotel.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had the crispy pata in the lobby?
They kicked me out.
Oh my God!
Wait, which Shangri-La?
Makati.
Okay, the
Shangri-La
the old
Makati.
one.
Yeah,
because they got one in BCG now.
Yeah, well, the old one. You go into the lobby, you're eating it or you're drinking at the lobby bar.
Oh my gosh, huge bar.
Somebody's playing piano.
That's the United Nations
singing,
of Manila, right
and
there.
then you order a crispy pata for like $13, and this huge pork hock comes out. Looks so like a dinosaur bone, and it's all crispy, gooey, gelatinous, with three different sauces.
Have you been able to do a lot of traveling?
Lately, yes.
Yeah.
Lately, yes. I haven't been back to the Philippines, but been going kind of all over the U.S. The past
hunting,
the past year, all kinds of different things.
You know how to go in the jungle and the forest in the States and dispatch big animals, right?
Well, it's been done before. So
Still crossbow?
Definitely. Well, I'm kind of into air rifles now.
Really?
High-powered air rifles.
I got a guy that is trying to get me hooked on the same thing. It's just you need to go out there and there's enough power behind some of the new air rifles that we've got that better than a 22.
Well, way better.
Did you see that? Look at he's got a gleam. He's got Peter's gleam in his eye. 9:48. Okay. All right. So Holy Grail. I mean, we're touching some new technology, different ways to enjoy mescla, but Holy Grail of dining. What is it? The elusive flavor that you're going for. That elusive dish. You get this. You get a glimmer of an idea in your head, and you start sketching it out on a napkin, going, okay, this is the next big thing. What's that these days? I mean, if it's not a company secret, it's not,
No,
industrial.
I mean, I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to food. And for me, it'll always come back to the same place. Comfort food. Simplicity is always the best. And, simple. Somebody asked me, hey, the Manahawk was running the past few days, right? Not a whole lot, but somebody was asking me
$5 for a Ziploc, small, but sandwich size Ziploc.
Yeah.
That's going price, right?
Yeah. Well, somebody was asking me what's your favorite way to eat Manahawk? And I said, honestly,
there's only one way to eat it.
Well, everyone says there's, fried and whatever, but
salt and
I said,
fried.
I like to Kelligwin mine and eat it with fried Spam and rice.
Oh, I hadn't pondered that. I had not pondered it. I'm the guy that eats them like potato chips, and your mouth is all swollen.
Well, and that's the thing is that everybody loves to fry manioc, but you take fresh manioc from the ocean and you put some nice local lemon and onions and hot pepper and salt, and then you eat it with the salty fried Spam and some hot rice, and you're in heaven.
I'm feeling it.
You got that.
I don't know. When I was a kid, I was kind of turned off by looking at it in its raw form, even Kelligwin. But I don't know. As I get older and develop a little bit more of a palate. One last thing for you before we head into what's going to be a fairly long break here, because Real Joe hasn't called me to a commercial in a while, as we will do in the last hour of the program. What's Chef Peter ruling on impossible meats? Vegetable-based meat.
I've had some variations of it, and it's not bad.
Anybody tried Kelligwin that yet?
I've seen a variation of it. Yeah, it looks like minced pork in a Kelligwin form. That's not bad. I mean, would you
serve it at your place?
No.
Okay. See, that was the ruling that I was going for. So trust, when you go to the Mescla, and eventually we'll all be eating in the Tumon shop again and going by the Mescla Dos that they've got down there. And by the way, I've got my fingers crossed that starts turning around. I know that the Mescla Dos across from John F. Kennedy has still been doing decent business. There's still I don't see as many rent-a-cars in there as I used to, but I got a feeling that's coming back. The Uncle Carl's doing, I think, some great work in Korea, trying to get fill up Mescla Dos with Korean hot pants once again.
Yes, and we're hoping for that. But fortunately for us, we've been blessed with local support, and
thank goodness.
I always stand as being here for the locals. The locals are our bread and butter, and we are 100% local. And when there's tourists that come in, that's just extra. It's
always nice.
Yeah,
dude, it's good having you in the studio. Come around any more. Anytime you got something else going on, or you just want to get in and start talking about the restaurant game and food and just somebody that you can bounce ideas off of. I'm always glad to hear about that. How's your stand-up paddleboard game?
It sucks. I'm better at hunting and fishing.
He's got his wife's got this whole group that they go out with on, and you can see him. You can see him crawling down the rocks of the Matapang Point there in Ipao and getting out.
Hardcore, man.
They are hardcore. And I said, hey, you want to come with us? No, I'm okay. If I leave, somebody will steal my cooler of beer and the lady in the bikini that guards it for me. So no, you guys go out there and have a good time. And they come back with they got incredible pictures these days, stingrays and turtles,
God.
and you see the turtle and you get hungry.
I'm jealous. Makes me want to go fishing.
Amen.
From the flap.
There's the guys. There's the guys over at Shut Up and Fish. See, every time he says something, it gets me to another conversation. All right, so I think it's a great piece of property and has got an incredible history there going back to when it was Latinos. But you got Latinos and that combined up with Seaside. Is it Seaside? And what was the old Agana Grill?
Yes.
Notwithstanding the age of the building, I always thought that would be a pretty good, another good place to stick a restaurant in the downtown Agana area. You ever ponder that?
You know, it's when I think about the older buildings, it's always nice, but man, the work that has to go into some of these older buildings.
Yeah. If you ask for water, get it in a bottle. Make sure that it's in a bottle. There's old pipes in there from a long time ago. 9:53 in the morning. Chef Peter from Mescla in the studio. Swing by the nearest Payless, or I believe Cost You Less. Mike said these are going to be available at the Cost You Less as well.
Yeah, hopefully that's in the works. We hope to actually get it around the entire island. Have it in various stores.
Happy Mart, bro.
Yeah, everywhere.
Happy Mart. Those guys, they do packaged dried beef from up in Jigo somewhere.
Oh, nice.
You know which one I'm talking about? Is it dried beef and dried pork?
I haven't tried it yet. I heard about it recently. I haven't tried it yet.
No, they've been, if it's still available, they've been selling it for about the last 5 or 6 or 7 years, and it was one of those things. I'd always go there, get some vegetables for the grill, and buy up this stuff. It's right near the first cash register on the side. It's worth hunting for, and you're a hunter. 9:55 in the morning. Quick break, and we'll kill the rest of the program.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Thanks, Mark. Mark Cruz correcting me again. Shoreline was what I was talking about. If DPPPS wants to collect on citations, they should fine every lot owner for stockpiling trash and other junks. Terrence Villaverde online. Mark Cruz online. We were talking about the Shangri-Las. Manila, EDSA, and Bonifacio Global City, but he says Makati is still closed. I thought was it renovations? The Shangri-La, and I think my sister probably be able to fill me in a little bit more on what's going on, because I think that's her favorite when she's in Imelda. It's got this nice kind of old school feel to it. You know, it's got this kind of, back in the old Imelda,
it's got that
Ferdinand
big
Marcos
sweeping stairs that goes up.
Oh yeah.
And the big piano there in the lobby.
I want to get married there.
Oh yeah.
I want to be the bride.
Can I just go to the bachelor party and skip that part?
Yeah, why not? 9:57 and change. Real Joe's going to be over there, and looking at the last couple of minutes on the program. What else do we get to play with here? We're talking about the misconceptions of what Tattoo Shauna. I love that line, Tattoo Shauna, calling it Japanese glitter, Japanese food. Oh, that's so beautiful, and a great represent, because that's what it looks like on the inside. And I've actually taken an old spice jar and converted that so it looks like, the little glitter things that girls do with their projects. Thanks so much. But yeah, a lot of misconceptions, if you will. How about this? A misconception about searing, as in searing your meat. Searing does not seal moisture into the meat. In fact, it causes it to lose some moisture. Meat is seared to brown it. because if we didn't brown it, we wouldn't eat it. It would not look palatable. So we'll put some color on it, get some char, and get some flavor. That's one of the reasons why they do it. With regard to turkey meat, it's not particularly high in tryptophan. It does not cause more drowsiness than other food. Reason why we get drowsy is because we're overeating all the way through. I'm just going for this here, minute and a half before the end of the program. Line 1, go ahead. It's Ray.
Hey, Ray. I just wanted to share something about Shangri-La. Was that one of the times I stayed there, and the whole staff knew who I was. They called me by name, Mr. Cruz, in the elevator, downstairs, the housekeeping attendants, and the hostesses down at the different restaurants. So I was just like, that was really nice that everybody recognized me, just by look. And I'm wondering if they have like flashcards every morning in their meeting, and they say, "Who's this?"
Yeah, he's a guy. He's a guy in 405. He's a big shot in the big wholesale business here on Guam. Yeah, big tipper, Mr. Cruz there, and Mr. Cruz. Yes, we come in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we won't say a word, sir. 9:59. Just an absolute. No, I know exactly what you mean. Incredible hospitality out there, and I can hardly wait until things start turning around here when Guam will get the reputation again for great hospitality in our hotels. Oh, and dude, you know what? They're already marketing over at that new Royal Laguna, the old Sheraton. Have you noticed that?
Yep, I saw that, and I can't wait till they open the Point and have entertainment.
Agree. Gee, I wonder if one of our favorite senators might be doing some singing in there soon.
I hope so.
All right, well, call me when you find out. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I got to go because it's time for Fox News on the Point.
Alert, it stays for now. I'm Lisa Lacera. A judge decides to keep a pandemic restriction in place that allows for the quick expulsion of migrants at the southern border.
A federal judge in Louisiana agreed to issue a temporary restraining order to prevent the CDC from lifting Title 42 next month after nearly 24 states sued. Judge Robert Summerhay